to launch a major ground offensive in central areas.
Tensions escalated despite reports of a tentative ceasefire agreement involving Syria and Israel.
A powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck near Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky on Russia's Pacific coast. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
The offshore quake led to brief tsunami warnings and caused limited damage in the affected area.
Japan's ruling party is facing unexpected losses in the latest national elections, with exit polls suggesting the party will lose its long-standing majority.
The outcome could alter Japan's domestic agenda and international trade stance.
10 Americans have returned home after being released by Venezuelan authorities in a large prisoner exchange involving more than 250 Venezuelan migrants deported by the U.S. to El Salvador.
The White House confirmed the release.
This is News in 60 with Alan Edwards.
Intense fighting in Gaza continued
today or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are
back to buttons not working again. But we had it all figured out when we thought we had it all figured out. We had it all figured out. Now, stay tuned to find out if we have anything figured out. I don't know.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Hot coffee.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Yeah, that's right. Dick.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Can I get a bump?
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Can't find what I wanted to find because it's not findable. Probably in the last place I looked. Oh, the last place I left it? You know when you can't find what you were looking for and it's always in the last place you put it? I'm not going to find it. Is that going to turn off or is now am I going to get my boom boom booms? I'm just seeing. Boom boom boom. Hey?
Wake up.
No, I'm not happy with the boom boom booms and the wake up Americas and the buttons and the... Good morning, folks. It's Monday. Monday, July 21st, 2025 or thereabouts. Anyway, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. G.D. Fenderson will probably be just a little bit late today. I understand he was taking his award back to have the engraving, is that changed to likely the second worst comedy special of all time. Because it does say the first right now, but I think he's rethinking that, or the awards academy, the Academy of Terrible Comedy, is rethinking that. Speaking of G.D. Fenderson, Blind Mike wasn't very good yesterday, but he did. He didn't mention G.D. He was on Shane Gillis, and basically, if you were with me last week, you know what I said. I know this is what I said. Let's be clear about what I said. I said I know Shane Gillis is funny. He's not for me. I hear people laughing. I know people enjoy him, but he's not for me. And then I made that reel and some clips and things I said last week, and people are saying, "Oh, bro." I'm nobody's bro. My bro is dead. But bro, if you don't think Shane is funny, there's something, coming back with there's something wrong with. Yes, there's something wrong with me, but it has nothing to do with Shane Gillis not being funny to me. Aren't there people in your life or in comedy that you don't find funny that other people do. It's just that. But apparently, Blind Mike was saying some things about the same kind of things I was saying, and he gets love for it. Oh, you're right. Maybe it's just a personality thing. Maybe it's me that's easier to not like because Blind Mike was saying the same things I was saying and getting love letters. Love letters. Anyway, yeah, one thing I touched on, and Blind Mike kind of he extrapolated on a little bit. The idea of throwing your writers under the bus. Now, I do think I am going to be a little negative on Shane personally for this, because more than once he said, "Okay, I didn't write it." If you go on stage, you are responsible for what comes out of your mouth. If they said to you, you have to tell those jokes, you had the opportunity to say, either I'm not doing the show or I have to approve of the jokes. That's on you. But to go out there and if a joke bombs and you say, I don't care, you're throwing the writer under the bus. And that's not fair. The writer is, and generally I would think you'd hire your own writers, but if they're forcing you to tell jokes that you don't think are funny, you have the option of not doing it. You take responsibility for the material you take on stage with you. And he didn't do that. And he doesn't do that. I think that's weak. That's the only word I could use for it. Weak. It's just not. It's not professional, man. You go on stage. You tell a joke. You own that joke for that time. The audience doesn't need to know you didn't write it. If it doesn't work, you don't throw the other guy under the bus. Because first of all, if you don't have the balls to say, I don't think this joke is funny, I don't want to say it. Was there no discussion about that? It's hard to believe. Anyway, so Saturday night, I was going to watch GD's Plausible Show. I was going to spend $5 and watch GD's Plausible Show by myself. But then I got an offer to do an acoustic gig on a floating dock in the Nisqually River. And that paid $350. So I had spend $5 and watch GD, or go get paid $350 and play acoustic guitar on a floating dock. I chose the latter. So I'm up $355. I win. But now, knowing what the Rev told me yesterday, it just makes it all, because I was actually debating it. Like, I understand it did not go well. And I'm not here to rub it in. I think I know why it didn't go well. And I don't think it's really, look, he's throwing GD. No, I don't think it's GD's fault. I think it's, I don't want to say OBS fault. It's, well, we'll talk about it. But I think technology, if technology isn't working for you and you got things planned and you're trying to get your ducks in a row, it can throw you for a loop. And then all you're doing is worrying about getting the technology right and not worry about performing. I think that's what happened. I don't know. I didn't see it because I was off playing on a dock. But anyway, you know what? You should get yourself some Dubby. If you've got technology issues and they're overwhelming you and taking away all your energy, you get some Dubby. Hi, Dubby. Hi, Dubby. You go to Dubby.com / and use a promo code MindDog. That's /MindDog. Dubby.com and use the promo code MindDog. Get 10% off. I got some on the way. It's a energy drink. W is an energy drink that, it's a powdered thing. You got to mix it with whatever you like. But it doesn't give you the jitters. And you know what? If I'm honest, coffee hasn't given me the jitters in 50 years. I'm jitter free. Because I probably have no nerve endings left or brain cells left. That could be. But for now, let's just say I get the jitters every day, and I'm looking forward to Dubby so I can get rid of the jitters. Dubby.com. Use the code MindDog. 50% off. 50% off. 10% off. Why are you saying 50% off? Who told you? I'm all mixed up. But in the meantime, I'm going to play this ad so he can. I think GD is back from getting his award engraved again. Or fixed up or whatever.
The opinions.
Oh, no, you're pushing the wrong buttons again. This one.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
We're on the wrong side. We're on the wrong side. I like being on the left. I don't know why. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In the room with me now are the freshly re-engraved G.D. Fenderson. Good morning.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. I should be holding my new trophy, but I don't feel like bending over to get it. What? What's the face for?
Big and you're small. Why am I big and you're small? I'm not loving being big.
It's the attitude, I guess.
Okay. I'll be back here so I can be not big. All right, I'm sorry.
Let's try this again then. Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Did you recently get unfriended and erased from someone's contacts? Your very best friend in the whole wide world because Matt was mean to him on a recent Coffee with the Dog show? Join our Matt Ruined Our Relationship support group. We meet every so often day at late o'clock. MindDogTV.com/merch. Go to Suffering and support your local mercenaries.
Where do I sign up for this group? Because I think I've been abused. What? I don't know.
My best friend of Lord knows how long. I can't remember a time when he wasn't in my life. Robert Yerry has unfriended me. He's blocked me from groups, and he's not. He was supposed to be on Done Way Past Funny tomorrow, and I went to send him the invite, and I'm blocked.
Did he see how big I got? Maybe if he sees how big I got, because I'm big. I don't know.
Yeah, but he'll swear you're a small person anyway. No matter how big you get.
Yeah, I don't want to waste too much energy thinking about that dipshit. But come on,
I'm just saying that was he was like my best friend in all of Upper New York, and it's gone.
Troy, he's from Troy.
Troy.
I would actually like to take a visit up to Troy and just face him face to face, and scared. Well, I know he's been beaten up in jail, so he knows what it's like to be threatened and intimidated. But he called me evil, and I'd just like to show him. And I'm not disagreeing that I have lots of evil in me, but I'd like to show him what it looks like when evil is truly manifested in me. Because I'm scared. I scare myself when I become Satan. And when I get this big, I don't know. I'm looking big. Anyway, we have an author scheduled for today. I'm not sure if it's in the first hour or second hour. I should probably know that, right? GD is the champion and retains his title. Slaptail Squad said that, and I think Slaptail Squad will be here tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow.
Okay. Cool.
Not one of these dopey Stephen Ortiz fans. We got a real comedian on, not one of these dopey Stephen Ortiz fans. We're still not on BitChute. We're still not streaming there, and I pulled a power play last night with the text over there. I said, what's his name? Ray Vahey. I said, Ray Vahey's a friend of mine. I had him on the show last week, and he said it would be so easy. You guys are making it seem like it's really hard. Ray promised me that we could, because I'm supposed to be promoting your service, and I can't do that if I'm not on there. Oh, Ray. But they still haven't hooked me up. But then I went over to BitChute and I looked at the member picked content. Remember, he told us about member picked content. The members pick it for you,
right?
And the first thing I see is niggas lie. What? And then the second one was all these kikes gotta go. Bye, Jews. I'm like, whoa, you talk about free speech. This is like you're going a little too far here. I mean, I'm a free speech guy, and things can be said in context, but one after another of things like that. Like, I'm like, I don't know. Do we want to be on this network? I mean, I don't know. I need a backup plan for when we get kicked off of YouTube, obviously.
Well, the thing, what concerns me is, first of all, doesn't everybody lie?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, look what you're dealing with there. And this guy had this like hand-drawn picture of what his interpretation of a black person was, and it was something like from 150 years ago or something. Just ridiculous. But that's what I was looking for. I'm scrolling through here, and like all of this stuff is, I mean, it makes Alex Jones seem like moderate or even less than I mean, softer than it's like the ultimate conspiracy. Jews forged the Dead Sea Scrolls is the top one that comes up on here. I mean, more than you can imagine of conspiracies.
Why they wouldn't have to forge it? They wrote it.
I think
that would be like me forging my own checks.
Yeah, I think the problem with you is you're trying to apply logic to idiots. But it's basically because Rumble's pretty bad, but Rumble's nowhere near as bad as this kind of stuff. They're claiming Obama is already in jail. I know you've heard this nonsense about Tulsi Gabbard going to charge Obama with treason, blah blah blah, and it's just. But so Obama's already in jail, and they're just not telling you. I mean, the ultimate conspiracy theorists say, "I'm not sure we want to be on there." I mean,
that's not. First of all, that's not even remotely true. Obama was at my house on Saturday. So there's no way that he could be in jail. He may have rather been in jail.
He felt like he was in jail.
Yeah, he may have felt like he was in jail. But no, he wasn't in jail. He was at my house. He was sitting right next to Dale and Linda.
So I'm betting T.L. McCoy. Is that it? T.L. McCoy?
T.L. McCoy.
Is scheduled for the second hour, not the first hour. But whenever first of all, I thought it was a guy. When
she hasn't been on the show before then.
Huh?
I'm assuming she hasn't been on the show before. For some reason, the name and the face seem familiar, but
there's a JP Mc something like an author, and the face looks the same and all. But so yeah, no, she hasn't been on the show before. But when I hear the name, first I thought it was a guy, and I'm thinking, oh, we're getting the guy who did the Convoy song. Remember Convoy?
Oh yeah,
we're gonna have a Wasn't that something like T.L. McCoy? I thought it was. Anyway, so I think 10:15 she's scheduled. Yeah, I should have known that, but I didn't know that because I'm a slacker. This nonsense about Obama being charged with treason. I all over Twitter. I'm like, go with that, man. I want you people to run with that because the question becomes, how much patience are they going to have with this when 6 months from now, Obama still hasn't been charged? Are the MAGA people going to fucking start to wake up then? Or are they just going to be, oh man, just realize that everything is just a smokescreen to distract from the Epstein stuff right now and whatever? Because nothing's going to happen with that. It's all just talk. It doesn't even make a whole lot of sense because what they're saying is that Obama was perpetuating the myth that Russia actually stole the election, and he's on tape many times saying, although they did not change the results of the election, that their tampering or their attempts to do that were well known and well documented, and it's by multiple sources. But he was not. He's clearly saying that's not the case. They didn't change the results of the election. The only person who really said that was Hillary, and she said that after the fact. So whatever. But it's not going to go anywhere, and they're not going to ever arrest them. They're never going to charge them. And I'm just wondering where their patience will run out with that. And they'll say, "Hey, wait a minute, man! Did you lie to us? What's going on?" Because they're just once you feed the lemmings that, they're going to be hungry for it. Now they're just going to be talking about it, and you're not seeing it in the mainstream news or on Facebook even. Or the only place I'm seeing it is on Twitter and now BitChute. It's probably on Rumble too, but it's just like flooding the algorithms over there. Obama's going to jail. I can't wait till Obama gets arrested. Are you ready for the big arrest? Like they're coming today. Let's see how patient they are with that, because it's gonna...
I don't know. I do not know how deep Barack Obama's sense of humor goes, but I would troll the fuck out of him. I would have videos of me in handcuffs going into McDonald's or wherever he likes to eat. I would have, orange jumpsuits, me being videotaped surfing on a yacht or anything, wherever it is that he can go to have fun. I would be like in an orange jumpsuit, like I'm on work release on a yacht, work release on a plane. I would troll the fuck out of him.
You know what? You need to be an Obama advisor. I fully support that kind of concept, but I mean, I know he does have a sense of humor, but not to that extent.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know if he goes to trolling. But he's trolled. He tries to be classy when he trolls. When he trolled Trump to his face at the correspondence dinner.
Yeah.
I agree with Big Beautiful Bill. I didn't see him on Between Two Ferns. I didn't watch that show, but I've seen him in enough circumstances to appreciate the fact that he's very funny.
So it's just getting to the point where it just fucking blow this country up already. Blow the whole world though. I'm ready. We got media showers passing for UFOs. People know they're watching media showers, and they're looking up at the media showers, and then they say, "Oh, look, UFO."
Well, that's because they can't identify that particular meteor.
But they know that they know they go out to look at this thing, and then they see the thing that they're out there looking at, and then they say it's unidentified flying object.
Now, the whole thing with the Epstein crap, I equate that with, on a regular basis, feeding wild animals, and then you stop feeding the wild animals like raccoons, and they say, wait a minute, no food? And then they start foraging, and they start going through your trash, and they start looking for it. It's like, wait a minute, we used to come here for food, and you're not giving us what we want, so now we're going to tear your shit up.
I have a better analogy. It's like chickens and you're not feeding them, and they come peck at your leg.
Yeah. Well, any wild animal that you used to feed and you stop feeding them, they're just going to start tearing your shit up.
I'm not
before they move on. Eventually they move on, but before they move on, they tear your shit up.
Yeah. I started some I think I started this conjecture bullshit rumor mill, because Laurie Kilmartin said I wouldn't be surprised if he sexually assaulted his own daughter. Talking about Trump.
And she said that about Trump?
Yeah. And okay. I said it's much worse than that. I said he banged her, he knocked her up. She had to get an abortion, and there was Lauren Salazar, who was her high school friend, said she took her for the abortion. She since has taken that stuff all off the internet, but she said she took her for the abortion, that her father impregnated her, and that Ivanka knew about it, and Ivanka was planning a tell-all book. And she mentioned something in that she was going to put out the tell-all book a week before she got thrown down the stairs. I say, so it's much worse than when you say, I think I wouldn't put it past him to abuse his own daughter. He knocked up his own daughter, made her get an abortion. His ex-wife was going to tell about it, and he had her murdered and thrown down the stairs. And then as soon as I said that, people started sharing it. Then I see the Midas Touch running with this long expose. We need to revisit Ivanka's death and going through all the stuff and like what she was going to reveal in this tell-all book. I was like, did I start this fucking fire? Because it was dead. And I truly believe in that story. But the fact that it was dead, nobody was talking about it. And then I bring it up and people start sharing it. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing it on these major podcasts. I'm like, wait a minute. Did I start this? I'm taking credit for it, whether I did or not. Looking at the media is how the government transfers their mind control waves into you. That's Big Beautiful Bill's conspiracy theory. You got to say that in an Alex Jones voice, which I don't have. Anyway, let's talk about Plausible.
Okay. Yeah.
It did not go well.
Well, this is my wife heard the Reverend talking about it, and she says he's way too hard. I'm being way too hard on myself.
Yeah.
And
that's a thing.
Okay, but in all fairness, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can do, and I know what I failed to do. Yeah. It wasn't the material. I had good material, and the people in the room were laughing. Okay, and they weren't laughing like sympathy, but there was one person who saw me struggling, and you could see in her face, and it wasn't my wife. My wife wasn't the one who had the concern. It was one of my wife's friends, and I could see the concern in her face and everything I was trying to do to fix it. If I knew what I'd done wrong, if I knew what was throwing things off, I think I could have addressed it. But I don't. I think I know what it is now. Part of it, I mean, I have a routine that I do, and before and it goes literally up until like for 10 seconds when I'm on stage. And it's all designed to trigger me into being G.D. Fenderson. Okay. What people saw on stage last night was Glenn Fenderson, was the way I talk to my friends and not the way I perform. And there's a slight difference. When I perform, I try to be a little more economical with my words, and I try to have my shit together. And so
Slaptail says he enjoyed it. The writing was good.
I appreciate that. And I'm glad he appreciated it. I can do better, but and my wife says I was being too hard on myself, but I know what I'm capable of doing.
I think you were being too hard. The Rev was being too hard on you, and the Rev was just.
To be honest, the Rev's an asshole.
But anyway, anytime you say the worst ever, that's being too hard. That's being way too critical. But that's the thing. Performers are always harder on themselves than other people would be. But do you think? Do you give any credence to what I said? You were too distracted during the week, and 2 days leading up to it with technical nonsense that fucked with your mindset.
Well, there is some credence to it, but I thought I put it to rest once the thing started.
Right.
Like for example, the way I had set up the OBS for other shows, because I've done two OBS. Well, I've done two plausible shows, and I use OBS. What OBS allows me to do is to set a timer, and it starts the show. It starts the show with the timer. I don't have to be at the computer and manually start the show and walk in front of the camera. I don't have anybody that I could have start the show for me. And so when I realized that was going to be the case, I said, okay, I need a different introduction. And what am I going to do as an introduction? And my actual introduction is one of my triggers to let me know it's showtime. And it's like a mental. It's all mental. It's all.
You don't have to tell me though. When they used to play the theme on the radio, people in the room said it's like you become a different person as soon as that music starts.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So I never transitioned from Glenn Fenderson, the host of the people in the room, to G.D. Fenderson, the performer for people to see. And and they're not the exact same person. My friends think it's the same person, but I know it's not the same person. I mean, or the same attitude, the same approach, because it's all the same person. It's not like I go up there and I have different knowledge than G.D. Fenderson. It's not like the Reverend has different knowledge than I do. The Reverend is a totally different person. G.D. Fenderson and Glenn Fenderson is the exact same person.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like we need a psychologist on the program here, pronto. But
I did do one thing smart. I think I saved the best for last, and that wasn't on purpose because that was not what the plan was. Well, I mean, that was my plan. Wasn't to save the best for last. I should say the most fun for last. The opossum got to sing a solo. And
you're gonna milk that opossum for every.
Look, like I said, I had written that song like probably 6 months ago. To be honest, I wrote it a while ago. I can't remember how long ago. I had to look at the file to see when I created it, the parody, and I started. It was supposed to have been a video short, and I was doing cutouts of possums, and I was just making the paper possum mouths move to sing, and I thought to myself, if the show's going good, I'm going to need an encore. What can I do for an encore? And what I would do for an encore, my wife asked me not to do the song. That's the other thing. There's some songs my wife did not want me to do. She says that she thinks that they're offensive to her friends.
Wow.
But her friends have never heard them. She thinks her friends have heard them, but her friends have never heard these songs. I only did them like out of town. And the show that she thinks that her friends heard them at, I played the video for her of both shows. And I didn't do any songs. It was just straight stand-up. And my wife just refused to believe that, okay, you must have shown the wrong show. I said, honey, pick a show. I have every show that I've ever done in my hard drive. Pick a show that you want to look at. Look at the dates, pick a show, and you can watch it. She goes, I'm not watching all of your shows. I said, well, fine. Don't.
He's married to Blind Mike. Go figure. You gave me like a flashback there to my
I hope
first.
it was a good one.
Well, no, not necessarily. My first marriage. First of all, I was known for writing in this period of my life, from like 26 to say 30 or so. I was just performing with Mad Dog Boski and the Blues Man, and we were doing original music that was completely vulgar. Like one of the most requested songs we had was "The Only Crack I Like." The crack I like, and the line is, "The only crack I like is the one between my old lady's legs," and titties and all sorts. And my ex-wife hated it. She hated me for performing this stuff. So. Yeah, my friends get offended. Yet, what I performed that one time, they asked me to come up at a wedding, and I just came out with the crack I like for some reason, and I could see the whole room like it was for people on the radio. I was just making a face with my mouth wide open, just staring. It was just like really uncomfortable. So I understand not making the wife's friends uncomfortable with.
But here's the weird thing is that the song I did it. I did a show in DC, and they had a theme, and so they asked if I could write a song about butt stuff. Okay. And so I said, sure. I could. They wanted to know if I could do a parody about butt stuff. Sure, I can. Now I don't have any real experience with having my butt being stuffed, and I've only stuffed another person's butt twice.
Oh.
So it's not like I have like a great deal of reference, but I've had my doctor's fingers in my ass quite a few times.
Wow.
So that's what I made the song about. And that and learning and possibly enjoying it too much because I have a woman doctor.
Whoa. I only had once in my life with the guy and that was the time when I had the cyst on the ganglion cyst on my wrist, and the guy stuck his finger up my ass, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And what about this? I came for a thing on my wrist. I think you just like sticking your finger in guys' asses. And he told me to bang it on a book, and I didn't have a book, so I banged it on the steering wheel of my car, and it went away. It's like, well, I didn't need to get a fucking finger in my ass to get to this point. You could have just said that right from the start, and I would have left and paid you the money, whatever. You could have called Willie. He's the king of butt sex, right?
Well, I wrote but again, it wouldn't be my experiences, and I like to stick to my comedy is real. It's if I talk about it, it's happened, and if it didn't actually happen, I will tell you why I'm talking about it. I'll put it in context. But so I was doing two songs. I was doing two songs as part of my routine for this themed show, and they asked if they could see the lyrics, so I sent them the lyrics. And they had concerns about some of my lyrics because, like, almost half of their audience is gay or trans. It's like half of them are LGBTQ. Half. So, and I hope I got all the letters. And if I'm missing a letter, just include yourself.
You missed X.
Okay. I missed the spot because X marks the spot, and I missed it.
That's right.
So they sent me corrections. Suggestions, yes, corrections, and the thing is, I had written the lyrics, and it makes sense to me a certain way. The way they had me change it, it makes sense that's how they want me to say it. It makes sense to me, and I understood it. And so I said to my wife just before I go on stage, I said, I'm really worried that I'm going to sing my words instead of theirs. And so my wife says, well, don't, just what I can't remember. And it also turns out that when I sang their version of this, it's only like two lines. They had written jokes to go with it after I got off the stage, so they tied it in. So it kind of makes sense. And if I'd sang it the other way, their jokes wouldn't have worked with the song. So now it all makes sense. But I was concerned that I was going to sing the wrong words, and I was really sweating over it. And I said to my wife, I said, I know my mouth, I know how my brain works. And if I'm in the flow, I'm just going to do what comes natural and I'm going to say what's on my mind. So, and she goes, don't worry about it. You'll be okay. But then she started to worry about it. And part of their joke was overreacting to what I said about having my doctor's fingers on my ass. And I'm not sure. And my wife, for some reason, took that as them complaining about the song. But no, that was part of it. It wasn't a complaint. It was like a callback or something. And the thing is, the person who said it was not my wife's friend. He said it was the hostess. She said it wasn't her friend. But my wife had been drinking, and my wife has these memories that, she has two different sets of memory. She has the memories that she has developed while she's been drinking, and then she has the memories that she gathers and creates while she's sober. They don't talk to each other.
No. Yeah. Well, you know what? Where you probably beat up yourself too much. I was thinking about this last night. How many gigs I have where I felt like, and listen, in music you don't bomb like comedy. You just don't. You could either the crowd is with you, or there's some gigs where they're not feeling it, but it's not the same as being like Shane Gillis going, I don't care, I didn't write that. That's a whole different level of bombing. But I've had those shows where I felt like this was not a good gig, and then people come up, oh, great show, and everybody's saying that, and it's like, are they lying to me? Are they just being nice? What's that all that about? But the truth is, we are always way harder on ourselves than we're kind of overthinking what they're thinking about the show and all that kind of stuff.
Well, now I know that if I were to, I could fix it. Honestly, I could fix it, edit it, and people would never see the mistakes and put it on YouTube. And because I'm not going to lie, I think I had 15 songs in the thing, and I think I only did one of them without a mistake.
Wow.
And that was the last one, and I put the guitar down. And the thing is, I know all of those songs. Remember I used to play the wrong chord in Wonderful Tonight? That I played an E minor and it should have been a G?
Yeah.
I even relearned that. Okay, I fixed that little section. I got it right. I unlearned the wrong way and I learned the right way. And guess what? I played that part right, but the rest of the songs, no.
Yeah, no, that happens. You can just have a total brain. I've been having that lately on one or two songs that I play at the oldies places, at the senior centers, where there's songs I've played a million times, and then I got to a certain point, and I was like, "What the fuck is?" But as long as you sing the right note, the fucking audience doesn't.
Right now, that's it. I did sing the right notes. The closest I came to hitting the wrong note was I usually hydrate between songs, just so I make sure my throat is. I didn't take a sip of water till like an hour in, and then I realized I went to hit a note and it was not there. I could feel I wasn't going to hit it, so I just dropped a little bit and changed the tone so I wouldn't be off key. And then I realized I needed water. Good God, I should have drank some water.
Yeah.
But
all right. I know this is a tired subject already, even though it's only been a couple of days. And for me, I can be a pit bull and hang on to something for weeks. But the Shane Gillis thing, I just want to get your opinion on this. Do you agree with me that once you're on the stage, you own the material? And
absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and he did this more than once. So I don't care. I didn't write it. To me, if you wrote that, and first of all, if you work for him and he's one of you're in his team and you wrote that, the boss just threw you under the bus. That's got to be like, what? Why would you do that to me? And if you didn't, you work for the ESPYs or whatever, and they hired him, it's still like you're gonna walk around the rest of your life thinking Shane Gillis is a dick. He fucked me over. He didn't name me, but he still said.
I don't have respect for people who throw their writers under the bus, but of course I don't have any writers that throw under the bus. I'd be throwing myself. But I know my material, and I know my audience, and I know who should be laughing at what for the most part. Like I said, once in a while I'll get people who laugh at the setup, not the punchline, and I'm like, that's and like I don't even like. There's still one to this day. I don't know why they laughed at the setup and not the punchline. And I wish I'd been watching Blind Mike when they got to that part, because it's in that particular video. I said thinking there's the setup and they just laugh, and I don't know why they laughed. And my wife tried to explain it to me, and I said, but okay, I can't. If I remember it, I remember, I just don't remember how I said it. I was talking about I was dating a Chinese woman, but that's not how I set it up. I said, I have been broken up with because I wasn't black enough. And and the woman who broke up with me.
See, now I laughed at that because I explained that's just part of the setup, and I laugh because I can relate to that. I've been broken up for not being Italian enough. Go ahead.
Right. So I said, and she broke up with me because I wasn't black enough. And I said, and she was Chinese. Okay. And then I said, and I get it. So then I went and I said, Rita. Okay. And then they bust out laughing when I said Rita, and they just laughed. And I'm like, all I said Rita. And my wife says, because it's a Chinese woman named Rita. I said, but that was her name. I didn't name her. She was Chinese and her name was Rita. I don't, but they laughed when I said that. And the only part I was concerned about was, the gag was visual, and they had to see me do it, and they had to be paying attention to my mouth. And I did it like this. I said, Rita broke up with me because I wasn't black enough. And I said, okay, I'm sorry. If I'm going to say it, I should say it right, and I should quote her. And I did it like this. I'm not black enough. And that's how I did it. And that was what they were, and they got it. And they got it and they laughed. And
so racist because that's actually a Japanese thing, not a Chinese thing. But that's
fine. No, I got it from Chinese kung fu movies.
All right.
See, I got it from Chinese kung fu movies.
That's fair. Yeah, I didn't watch enough Chinese kung fu movies. All I know is Godzilla, and it was the same sort of thing.
Okay, yeah. See, so that's what I did. I did like a Chinese kung fu movie. You're not black enough. So,
sounds like a Donna Chang thing. Donna Chang Seinfeld episode where the girl was, "You're not Chinese." Whatever, whatever.
Look, I know people. I know my audience. I know who I write for. I write for 12 people in the audience, or 12 types of people in the audience, and that's how I write. And I know that some groups aren't going to laugh, some groups will, and then there's some things I write that are for me and like maybe 4 or 5 intellectuals, or me and maybe 4 or 5 other black people in the audience, whatever. And I know that. And if it doesn't land, I will say, my people think it's funny. Right. Or if it does not, I go like, my therapist laughed, or something like that, but I don't throw anybody under the bus. I have these canned responses that I know I'm going to say if people don't laugh.
All right. Let me, this is going to get me, people going to think I'm more of a dick than I am. Well, maybe just
is that possible?
That's a little possible. I have not perfected the art of dicking this yet. I'm working on it. But on the Shane Gillis thing, because Stephen, the worthless fucking cuck.
Which one? I've encountered a lot of Stephen cucks.
Stephen Ortiz.
Okay, that cuck.
He says, well, Shane's a big sports guy. No. This was what he was telling me in the chat room the other day. Shane's a big sports guy. Shane is saying Jackie Robinson's first game was against the Chicago White Sox. A real sports guy would know that the Chicago White Sox are in the American League. Jackie's first game was for the Brooklyn Dodgers. He played with the Brooklyn Dodgers exclusively in his career. Different leagues before they had interleague play. So if he's a real sports guy, he would know to say the Chicago Cubs. But his first game wasn't even in Chicago. It wasn't against the Chicago Cubs. It was against the Braves. And he did not hit a home run in his first at bat. I think what Shane got mixed up in there to call, because I kind of went, you're not supposed to fact check comedy, by the way. This is why I'm a fucking dick.
But he also invited you to. He invited, in that joke, he invited you.
You can look it up.
Yeah. Right, you can look it up.
So
and you don't do that if you ain't got your facts right.
Right. So anyway, I think he's talking about the first World Series that Jackie was in, and that was in Chicago. And that was 1947, and he hit a home run in his first at-bat. But in his first game, he struck out the first time. He did get a hit later on in the game and scored a run, but no home run in that. So, it doesn't matter. That's not what makes it funny or not funny. But to claim he's a big sports guy, that's why he's going there, and that's why this joke is funny.
One of my pet peeves of young comedians, because I've watched a lot of young comedians talk about a historical fact that's common knowledge. Maybe there's 1% of the people who don't know something, but the rest of the world is aware of it. And so, like, one guy, I see young comedians, like, I remember one comedian was talking about Jesus dying at the age of 34. Okay. Everybody knows it's 33. Atheists, Christians, Muslims, Jews, it's 33. There is no other number that Jesus died at.
I think it was 33 and a third.
Well, that's how fast he was rotating.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's only so. But that was only so he could learn the lyrics, right? He was.
Well, maybe Jesus was like me, because I'm calling myself 66, even though I have not reached my 66th birthday yet. I do it as a way of kind of in case I don't make it. Well, it's kind of. I'm trying to give myself credit for making it a little bit further. I'm already across the finish line to 66 when I'm not. Maybe.
Well, when you're telling jokes and stuff like that, you don't want to distract the audience, and so all of a sudden they're thinking, no, it wasn't 33. It wasn't 34. It was 33.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly. As soon as you said 34, I said, well, that's not right.
Right, and I told him, I said, that's what's going to happen. I said, if you're doing any kind of jokes with history, get your fucking facts right, because you're going to lose a good portion of the audience. And if it's a good history joke, you want people to pay attention to it.
Right.
I mean, not true. Like I jokingly, but there was I used to, once in a while, I will reference how kids don't know their history, and they'll talk about Martin Luther King being assassinated by James Earl Jones. Okay, now everybody should know it's James Earl Ray, and they should know
I
that
think
it's
I
not.
said James Earl Jones on this show once.
Yeah, so I did that like I don't know. So I did it part like one of my things, and I do that on purpose. And then I will go through and I said, but it wasn't. And then I'll go like, then I'll do like a Darth Vader impersonation as I'm aiming my gun at Martin Luther King. It's like,
that's the wrong one. You should go with Field of Dreams. If you shoot him, he won't come.
Oh man! Now I have another option, but I don't think of Field of Dreams. I think of James Earl Jones. I think of Darth Vader. And oddly enough, I think of Big Daddy on Cat on the Hot Tin Roof.
Oh, I love that the little bit of a monologue that James Earl Ray does when he's convincing Kevin Costner. Baseball, it's all. It reminds us of all that was once good and could be again.
I never watched that movie.
People will come, Ray. People will most definitely come. Wipe it up.
I've never watched that movie, so I don't have that reference. I know he was in it, and I've never even seen the whole monologue, the little speech on YouTube or TikTok or anything.
I think he's more than just in it. I think he is the movie. I mean, Kevin Costner was on his roll then, and but that movie really is James Earl Jones. He steals that fucking movie. He definitely does. It's the best part of that movie. All the stuff that he does. Anyway, I forgot what I was.
Oh, when he's talking about they'll come when baseball was good. Everybody that shows up on the field is white, right?
That's because they were talking about the Black Sox, the scandal, and the shoeless Joe Jackson there. Not only were they white, but they were like hardcore racist. Ty Cobb was like, I think he was a Klan member, or at least aligned with the same beliefs that the Klan had. All those, I don't know if Shoeless Joe was that way, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that this was hardcore. And this is kind of the thing about the Jackie Robinson thing, because by the time Jackie Robinson came along, it wasn't that white people didn't know black people could compete and be better. Josh Gibson was hitting more home runs than Babe Ruth was. They played interleague, or not interleague, like
the Negro leagues and
exhibition games against Negro leagues, and got their ass kicked. They knew these guys could play.
Right, and they would change the rules. They changed the rules on those games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and all the other stuff that went on there. It wasn't like white people thinking there's no way he could hit. Come on. That was never the case. They didn't want him in there because they didn't want to lose to them. They didn't want to, but they didn't want the world to see. But they didn't. It's not like they thought he wasn't going to be good. It wasn't that at all. Anyway,
now there's a coach that was talking about this is college football, but this is back when every team was starting to get like one black player. And every college team was like getting one black player, usually a running back or a D-back, and so because they were getting their asses kicked by one or two black guys. And I think, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, and somebody knows the actual teams, please correct me so I can get it right. But I thought it was Texas and Alabama. I thought it was Bear Bryant, because that was Alabama, right? Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
I thought it was Bear Bryant, and I thought it was against Texas, and they were playing in the game, and both of them had one black player, running back. And so when one of them when they put the black running back in, the other one will put their black player in to try to, so they could catch him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like black on black crime. And so I think it was Texas. They like ran the ball. They gave the ball to their black player, and he runs, and the other black player from the other team tackles him. Okay, so it's like 1-on-1, and if I got this right, if I remembered it right, the coach from Texas yells to Bear Bryant, "Get your nigger off of our coon."
Wow.
And Yeah, I think that's so. First of all, he's defending his coon. He's protecting his coon.
I'm wondering how that guy felt about that. Like, I don't know.
It's like you can see the two black guys in the huddle going, which one of us is the nigger? Which one's the coon? Like, yeah, I think you're the nigger because you're on me.
I'm a spear chucker. Yeah, this may shock you. So brace yourself for what I'm about to say. Yesterday, I got into a Twitter fight.
What?
I know.
No, first of all, I think you're making that shit up. You're Shane Gillis on me, right? Can I look this up to see if it's real?
Yeah, no, you can look it up. It's real. It was over whiteness. Somebody said
I know you're making it up.
Jesus was white because he grew up in Islam, in an Islamic country. And somebody said, well, Islam wasn't even a thing until 500 years after his birth.
Right. That's true.
And I'm like, Islam is not a race. You could be white and Islamic, you could be black and Islamic, you could be brown, or you could even be Asian and be Islamic. And like Jewishness is it's a culture and a religion. But you could be any race. It's not a race. And people were like arguing with me. I said, my point is, what defines whiteness? Because I think whiteness is arbitrary. Because you say in Islam, most of the people I see, like Iran is Islamic country. Those people look like me. They could be guineas. And then people were trying to make it about I should study the culture, the history of how these Jewishness and Islam evolved from cultures and religions aligned with those cultures. That's not my point. I'm trying to figure out how we define whiteness, because this woman said, well, Islam is all Arabs. I said, well, Arabs look like me. First of all, and like, how do we define whiteness? So I looked it up, and the U.S. Census and defines.
That's I was going to say go to the U.S. Census, because
they define Arabs as Caucasian,
right.
And like, well, Caucasian, that's what I am, right? Am I Caucasian? Because I don't. Well, they're dark-skinned Caucasian. They're dark white. I like dark white is not a color. You got black, you got white. Gray? Are they gray? Because that's aliens now. It was
are they dark white or are they light black? Gray.
There's no such thing. So, I mean, this whole idea of how we define whiteness, like, I want to know, am I white? Because I'm Mediterranean, or am I a dark white? Am I like a green white? Because the olive skin is kind of like a green tint to it. What am I? And that's what I like. How are we defining whiteness? It seems like arbitrary. You want to call somebody white, they're white. If you want to call them something else, you're free to do that. It's just like, and so when it comes down to Jesus, you don't know. Because of the place he was born, the place he lived, you have no idea. He could have been green. Could have been green like me, because he ate a lot of olives, way too many olives. That's all I'm saying. So and one guy said, well, I said, because the guy came back to me, the first guy came back to me was, you need to go study the roots of the culture. I was like, you could talk about what you want to talk about, make up your own, you're making up a whole different conversation. That's not my comment is nothing about where the Jews come from and where did Islam come from. It's how do I know where whiteness, how do we define whiteness? And nice way to save face. I don't need to save face with you. I don't even know you. I don't fucking care what you think about me. I want to know what white means. What does white mean? Nobody could give me a fucking answer on that. And so, everybody's white. That's it.
I just define whiteness as a convenience. When I want to talk about my wife and I want it to be funny, I say my wife is a woman of whiteness.
Yeah.
That's it. And people think it's funny.
Yeah. But what? Because I think, and I think this is probably true of African people too. Black doesn't cover all the different. I mean, you could be. I mean, I'm going to say Egyptian and still have black skin, but you could be South African and have white skin. And so Africa has a lot of diversity within race and within cultures and all that stuff. And I think whiteness, if you talk about Caucasian, spreading through from Europe through the Middle East, you can't say that Irish people are the same as, let's say, Iran or something like that. They're just not the same culture. They're not tied together by their skin color doesn't define their culture in any way. I mean, if you show me a guy in Iran doing that little jig thing, then I'll adjust my thinking on that. But I don't see it.
That's the wrong jig.
Oh, what
that's the one you do. That's the one you do after you have a couple of jigs of tequila.
I didn't know
that. Is that
what
this little jigger? Is that what that little shot was?
I thought that was an Irish thing. That little, what was that? A river dance?
You did that. That's like Mexican. Yeah.
Well, now,
I think the Irish one is.
Oh yeah, you're right. Close enough. You know, I got to learn some jigs.
I have a guy who you work with. He's an official. He's a professional jigaboo, so he may be able to help you with learning all of your jigs.
Now, where does the boo come from? It's like a boyfriend. A boyfriend.
It's like a spook. I don't know, but he's but that's what he does. He teaches people how to do jigs.
I'm looking. This thing keeps changing on BitChute. Ray seemed like a really nice guy, right? He seemed like a really good guy, and
yeah,
I understand the free speech, but where does free speech become just allowing idiots to just fucking say whatever the fuck they want? I mean, it's some of these things are just insane that I'm seeing.
Well, this is one of the things where it's like I said, it's his business model, and I guess capitalism is going to have to sort it out.
Yeah,
you know, obviously, I mean, okay, yeah, he says he's in it for free speech, but I'm willing to bet he's also in it for money.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so at some point, if he's still making money with the speech that he's getting, he's probably not going to change the model. But if he realizes that he can make more money if he would just put a cap on how often people say nigger and jigaboo and spick and stuff, then I'm pretty sure that and
it's not just the bigotry and racism that got me. It's like yesterday was, well, according to his site and his site only, yesterday was National World admit the moon landing was fake day, and there are thousands of videos on here. NASA admits, Buzz Aldrin admits, NASA admits that we never went to the moon. Moon landing anniversary, hooray! It was all bullshit. Like one after another. It's like you're rewriting, and we live in a time where people will not go any further than this one video that told them it was all bullshit, and so they're just filling people's minds with just lie after lie.
They did a cost analysis of with the technology that they had in 1970 July 1970 when they landed on the moon.
69. July of 69 because
July 69. I'm sorry, yeah. July 69 when they landed on the moon. They did a cost analysis. How much it would take with Hollywood technology of the time to fake the moon landing versus how much it costs to actually go to the moon. Yeah. And it would have been more expensive to fake the moon landing than it would have been, with the technology they had to make it look as good.
Yeah,
to make it look like
the movie technology was not that, what it is today, all that stuff. So it would have been really hard to fake. That's absolutely
right.
True. I mean,
and it says so that and all the things it would have had to fake, it'd have been more cost effective to just go to the fucking moon. It's like somebody, it's like it's like you have something at your house broken and you won't call the repair guy because you think you can do it yourself, and you just make it worse and worse. And now you got to clean up and fix this leak and that leak, and the floors are now soaked, the tiles are warped, and all you had to do was call a plumber to fix the pinhole. And instead you did it yourself, and everything's all fucked up.
Yeah.
It would have been cheaper to get a plumber. It's the same thing. It'd been cheaper to go to the moon than to go through all that trouble to fake it like you went to the moon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday, I had a call with Jake Jolly
from State Farm.
Well, he is he's wearing khaki pants. This is Jake Jolly is the director of Clay Zombies, and he's the director of the upcoming movie called.
Okay, yeah.
You
were supposed to have a part in it.
I do have a part in it.
Okay.
Yeah. The name of the upcoming movie is Your Pizza's Gonna Be Late Because of Aliens. I think it's kind of a long title, but it's shooting. My shooting is in September. September, one of the last weekends in September, the 28th or something. And I got to drive out there. And we were discussing. He said, the shooting schedule, and he's going to want me to kind of get there and start shooting and work hard for 2.5 days the whole time through, and then drive back. Fine with that. But then he mentioned a concert scene because I'm playing an old musician who is the mentor and kind of a old curmudgeon, based on me. He wrote the part based on me. A curmudgeon who gives a lot of advice to his young nephew who's about to get married, who's a pizza delivery guy who gets abducted by aliens. Giving away too much of the plot here. But he said there's a concert scene. I thought, well, what music? Basically, I'm the lead singer, guitar player in this thing, and like, are you hiring sync licenses? Are you paying for cover songs? Is this going to be an original song? He hadn't thought that out yet, and I was like, well, I can send you a couple of songs. I don't know if they're going to be good, but then like the band has to learn them. So why don't I just bring a band out there instead?
I was going to say I can learn a song.
Right, one song. It's basically going to be one song that they shoot for and be used for maybe 2 minutes total in the entire movie. And I think 2 minutes is a stretch, probably less than that. Like, I'd be more comfortable actually bringing out musicians, and because it's going to be on a stage playing for a real crowd, and maybe play the same song 5 or 6 times over for different angles.
By that time I'd have it real good.
And you don't even have to, because they're not going to use the sound from there. They're going to use a pre-recorded sound, and you're just kind of lip syncing it anyway for the sake of the movie.
And I have, if you want to hire me, I'm not. No, if you want me to do it, I'll do it for free. I have like 3 different tambourines. I have 2 different triangles. They're 2 different pitches.
Yeah.
I have like 4 kazoos. They all come in different keys.
Yeah. So we haven't made the decision yet, but I said I'll bring some people with me if you want to do it. And if he says okay, I'll just pick you up on the way to Ohio. You're on the way, sorta.
I can just drive up. Ohio's not that far from me. It's like 6 hours.
Wow. Columbus. It's in Columbus. I did tell him I need to know. I'm one of these people who needs to know where I'm going way in advance to plot out my route.
Same here, because I have things that I need to take care of at home, so that my wife won't have to take care of them while I'm gone.
Yeah. So anyway, and then my stepdaughter was supposed to be getting married in late September, and I was a little worried. Now they've moved that into April. My wife has been working on the property because they're getting married here. My wife has been putting in day and night on the property, trying to get it presentable for a wedding, understanding that it was going to be in September. Now it's moved to after the winter. All that work is going to be for naught. You got to do.
Yeah. Just so you know, if your wife winds up going to court for murder, being on trial for murder, I will testify, because I've been there, and I will be a character witness. I was like, no, you go to that.
Damn it, you're going to get married when you said you were going to get married.
Right. Somebody better fucking get married. Yeah. If it's not them, they better have somebody fucking coming in and getting married.
Fucking A, yeah. I can't just, it's starting to look good back there. It's kind of like a little stage on, because I used to have a great big pool, but on the side yard, but there's a stage now. It's like, wow, maybe I could do a show in the yard. Thanks for putting in all that work for me to do my own little plausible show outdoors. Yeah. So anyway, we are waiting T.L. McCoy. We're going to have a convoy. In the meantime, why don't I play a little news and get refreshed on what's happening in the world? Do you know what's happening in the world? Russia is more names I can't pronounce.
I heard that the Epstein's files is going to be a series.
It already
Mulder,
is.
They're going to have Mulder and the other guy, person?
Scully.
Mulder and Scully. But yeah, they're making a sequel. The sequel to the X-Files, Epstein
You
Files.
think Scully was hot?
Which one was Scully?
I mean, it's a chick.
I don't know.
Well, I can't think of her name now. I could see her face.
Oh, the woman. Not really.
Yeah, I didn't either, but she got kind
now,
of
now she dresses up. Her makeup makes her look much more. I mean, I can understand why people. It's funny when you put somebody on television, they automatically get like 3 more hot points than they would ordinarily.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that movie. What was it? Beauty Jack, the one with Whoopi Goldberg and Sam Elliott.
Oh yeah, Fatal Beauty.
Fatal Beauty. And all of a sudden, Whoopi Goldberg is just average looking, but then she gets in that movie and she's just so hot that he just has to, he.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna forego the news for just a second here because you brought up Whoopi Goldberg. Blind Mike was talking about Whoopi and Joy Behar on The View were reviewing Shane Gillis's piece, and he says about Whoopi and Joy Behar that they call themselves comedians, but I haven't seen any evidence of them being comedians. And to me, that registered with an equivalence to Joe Rogan, right? Joe Rogan is now a podcaster. He calls himself a comedian. If you've seen his specials, you wouldn't. It's so-called comedian, right? Whoopi in the 80s and Joy Behar in the 80s. Whoopi was part of Comic Relief. I think she did 45 minutes on Comic Relief. And I'm not saying that she was a great comedian, but she was a comedian. But so The View is really the female version of the Joe Rogan podcast, where all the bros are on, and all these bro podcasts, they have a negative reaction to The View doing it. Oh, they're not even comedians. And you look at the people on the bro podcast, and you could say the same. Brenda Schaub and Joe Rogan, and all these people. It's just a matter of gender is the only difference. These guys are. But they're not seeing that connection. It's like, oh, The View is, where they even get off talking about this? They have no ground in comedy. Yeah, they all worked in comedy. They all made.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it was in the 80s, but they do it. And like I said, and Whoopi had, how many people can stand their own with Robin Williams and Billy Crystal on stage?
Right. Yeah. And she was.
It's not a lot.
She was an equal among two of the greatest comedians of that era. So.
Right.
Yeah. Robin Williams. I know I'm stalling here. Robin Williams. I watched the thing on Coco the Gorilla. You remember Coco the Gorilla?
Yeah.
What a life. Coco was born in I think in 1971. She was sick. She had to be taken away from her mother to get well again. And then when they reintroduced her to her mother rejected her. So the scientist woman took Coco home and raised Coco as her own, and taught her sign language, taught her to draw, taught her to reason, and but she became a huge Mr. Rogers fan. And then when she met Mr. Rogers, she said, "Oh, I love you. I love that." She signed, "I love you. I love the sweater," and she went and grabbed the sweater. Now, to me, that because gorillas are not chimpanzees. We always think chimpanzees are so smart. Gorillas are thought to be dumb. This was a gorilla showing real connection, being able to kind of equate what she saw on television. This is the real person now. Oh, and I love you, and saying this. And then she became friends with Robin Williams.
Right.
When Robin Williams passed, she saw it on television. And she went into a deep depression. And the lady was asking her, what's wrong, Coco? And she says, my friend Robin sleep forever. Sad. My friend Robin sleep forever. To me, that's astounding. Like, wow, man, proves that animals, we look at them and think they're all just playing, they don't understand anything. They understand far more than we ever imagined they could understand. And the emotional connection that they make is just astounding. And so it almost makes me want to become a vegetarian again. Like, whoa, you take a lot for granted, but for a gorilla, I want to pet gorilla now. So
now, have you watched any of the videos of these dogs that have they're like foot pads, and they all have like maybe like 20 pads, and they have words on it. So like if they step on one pad, it's like, I want outside, stuff like that. I would never, ever do that to my dog. Okay, sorry. Oh, and I would never do it to myself. First of all, I don't believe in anthropomorphizing animals. Okay, I believe that they have their own laws and their own rules, and we should learn to respect their rules and laws instead of making them give up their nature to please us.
Right.
But that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
But the last thing I want is my dog to not just to look at me judgmentally, but now to be able to outright just say it.
Yeah.
They're awful.
Yeah.
You stink.
Reminds me of the Buddy Hackett joke about don't listen to the sheep. They're all liars.
I don't want my dog to be typing out things like "you smell like ass," and I don't know if it's a compliment or an insult.
Well, don't be telling my wife what goes on here when she's not home, dog. Anyway,
so I'm not giving a dog. That's why I have a cat, because my cat has its thoughts. It doesn't care if it doesn't give a shit if I know what it. It's like, no, you don't. I would never. No.
Yeah.
Not only that, I have my wife to tell me what my cat is thinking.
All right. Are we ready for
almost all the time? My cat is thinking something that I didn't do for my wife.
Yeah. I would be interested in knowing what the cats think, because cats are a whole different. They're just weird. They're devious, evil, selfish, but you still love them when they say, "Oh, come on, rub my belly." Yeah, it's like, okay, and then they bite you and claw you.
I don't think we need the news, because I think we have T.L. McCoy in the room. We can just bring her in.
Yeah, I'm going to bring her in. Screw the news. We don't care about the news. You don't care about Russia and Ukraine, do you? Or people bombing each other, killing each other, Epstein files, whatever is in the news. We don't care. Do we care?
I don't. Not really. It's not. It didn't mention my name, so I don't.
All right, let's all sing "Convoy." We're gonna have T.L. McCoy probably has no idea what I'm referencing there.
She's too young.
You think? Yeah, I think she's too young, but she's a grandmother, which is shocking. But when you look at her picture, you say, that's not a grandmother. Maybe she's a mother, right? No, she's a grandmother. T.L. McCoy is a writer, registered nurse, certified teacher, and former school director. Wow, that's a hell of a resume. More importantly, she is a grandmother of a child diagnosed with Dravet syndrome. I'm not sure what that is. Catastrophic seizure disorder, because she has been she's seen firsthand the challenges faced by neurodivergent children and their families. She wrote Delilah versus the Grim as a rallying cry for greater inclusivity, acceptance, and empowerment. She's here now. Let's say hello to T.L. McCoy. Good morning.
Thank you for having me on your show.
No way you're a grandmother.
I sure am.
Wow. So
we'll keep that quiet, though, other than like this little area right here.
Did you understand all the stupid joke I was making about a convoy?
I only caught the end of it. So what was the joke? Tell me.
Well, T.L. McCoy, I believe, had a song called "We're Gonna Have a Convoy" back in like early '70s. We're gonna have a convoy, and so when I saw T.L. McCoy on the schedule, I thought that was the guy. Is he still alive? Why the guy who did the convoy song?
I was actually named after a song. My sister gave me my name. It was after the song "Tammy's in Love." It's a little bit of an older song. And then Mark Wahlberg with his movie Ted basically ruined my name.
Oh,
I don't know. Have you seen that movie?
No, but I know the movie you're talking about with
the stuffed animal.
Yeah.
They basically said, what's the most white trash name that you could possibly give someone? It's my name. And I am actually Tammy Lynn, which is what they said was the worst name to have. So
I like that.
Loved it.
I like that name. It's a nice name. So screw Mark Wahlberg for saying
that. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's C.W. McCall was the
C.W. McCall.
C.W. McCall.
Yeah. You know what? And because GD thought you were another author that we've had was J.P. McCall, who was on the program. So it's easy to mix all this stuff up.
Oh, we're all the same.
Yeah, all you authors. Now, generally, one of the questions I ask about publishing is self-published or published. You started your own publishing company. Yeah.
I did. So I think there are pluses and minuses to going the traditional route versus the self-publishing route. If you want to self-publish, you have the control. basically. If you go the traditional route, the publishing houses, the big five, would have the control. But they also have the benefit of huge departments that could help with things like marketing, which is very important. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with my little Blue Round Book Group company. I'm still in that learning curve and how to do the marketing and getting the word out. So that's probably the hardest part of publishing your own book. Starting your own company is super easy. It's just a few forms and some money. You know, it doesn't cost that much.
Yeah. But just to, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think when you talk about these traditional marketing, traditional publishing companies, they don't do the marketing. They got hip to the idea, well, we're going to make them do all the work anyway. All they're really doing is just taking a lion's share of the profits. That's all they really do.
You know, I read that somewhere. I read that they do market, especially new writers. They market them a lot less. I did read that somewhere, that is a trend where you're having to do a lot of the marketing yourself anyway. Yeah. But if the book does well, they're getting a pretty cut. In fact, you don't end up with a big cut at all. They end up with the lion's share. So that is true.
If you were the Harry Potter woman, whatever her name is, I can't remember.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. If you're somebody like that, then they go through the marketing stuff for you. But they don't need the marketing. This is the weird part of it is the people who don't need the marketing get the marketing, and the people who really do, and you would think it would behoove them, but they know you will do the work. You'll come on this show even though it degrades you to be here with us.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, wait, just wait. We'll change your mind on that.
Oh, okay.
Now this Dravet, is that how you pronounce Dravet syndrome?
Dravet. It's called Dravet syndrome. It's actually, I know it sounds very fancy. It's a rare and catastrophic seizure disorder caused by a genetic mutation. A genetic mutation in the SCN1A gene. And so basically what it does is that's the gene that kind of controls your sodium channels. And sodium channels are important to the electrochemical functioning in your brain. And so when that doesn't work right, you could end up with some seizures. And these seizures aren't like regular seizures, like when you think about somebody having epilepsy. A lot of these kids have seizures every week, sometimes every day, sometimes multiple times a day, and they're very long seizures and difficult to control. So it kind of works like a spectrum, like autism, where some of these kids end up being high functioning and may have close to a normal life. And then some will need lifelong care their entire lives and don't make it past their 20s. So it's
not
serious.
That common though, is it? Because I've never heard of it before.
No, it's not all that common. And they are making strides in trying to find the cure. Right now, there is not a cure. We've been very fortunate. My daughter is in the medical field, so she hit the books and really did a lot of research. And she presented an idea to our neurologist for my grandchild, and they got my grandchild on this medication called Fintepla, and it's been able to control her seizures for a year. But she still requires a lot of therapies like physical therapy and speech therapy and occupational therapy to try and because when you get this disorder, it comes with a cascade of other issues like behavioral problems and speech problems. Her area that's affected is her speech the most. So she doesn't articulate the way others articulate. And so that's what we're working on now. Now she's young. She's only 4. So I think we'll get her there. Now, the book is older.
She's only 4. Did they diagnose this in infancy? I mean, where does it start to present itself?
So that's usually the red flag, is that when a child who's very young, like in their first year of life, has seizures, that's usually a red flag. And so when she had her first seizure, and it was a pretty long seizure, I remember, I'm a nurse. So I remember thinking, oh God, I hope it's not Dravet syndrome. I literally thought that when I heard that she had a seizure, because I was not.
So you were already aware of that before?
I came across it during my studies in school.
Wow.
And I used to be a director of a school for kids with disabilities. So I was worried right off the bat. And then they have to do genetic testing. So when she had her second seizure, that's when they, my daughter said, should we do some genetic testing? And the doctors agreed to do it. And that's when we got the diagnosis for Dravet syndrome. So they have to do the genetic testing to see. But the first red flag is like the seizure starts very early in infancy.
Now, does she, your granddaughter, does she understand that you wrote this book for her?
She does. So even though she's young, she knows I wrote a book for her. She can't read the book. The book is a little bit like a little bit darker.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's a little dirty, so she can't read it.
It's not dirty, but it is a little bit on the darker side. You know, it presents a child who has a life-threatening seizure, and that causes an indigo door to open in her mind, and she's catapulted to this world where there are monsters and danger. And she's actually in two places at once. She's in the hospital. They put her in a medically induced coma to stop, control the seizure. And then she's also in this world, this dangerous world. And what happens is when they put her in the medically induced coma, it kind of closes that door. It removes the door and she can't get back. Right. So now she's trapped there and she has to kind of grow and develop and discover her own powers, which are rooted in her disability. To survive. So I wanted it to be something fun, action-packed, sort of like Percy Jackson, a little bit of magic in there, like Harry Potter, so that the kids will want to read it, but also like be something that would be inclusive to kids who have disabilities, which was a big goal in writing the book.
Right.
Now, to me, that's kind of, the scariest thing. You tapped into the thing that scared me the most, and that is.
I thought I scared you the most.
No.
My face.
I've always been terrified of because I've been in a coma, of not being able to come back because the things that I was experiencing in my coma, I did not know I was in a coma.
You're in a coma right now.
And I had to be brought. I found out I was in a coma while I was in a coma, so I actually brought myself back, but.
Wow.
How interesting. So while you were in the coma, you sensed that you were in the coma and kind of
the world didn't make sense to me.
Okay.
I didn't know I was in the coma. And I was trying to understand why things were happening and why things didn't make sense. There was just things that were defying logic and defying gravity and defying common sense. And I couldn't figure it out until actually I saw somebody that I knew and they walked right past me and they didn't recognize me, but they didn't acknowledge me. And so I followed them, wondering why they didn't. And so they went to my room and I saw my name on the door. And I was wondering, I said, this must be my room. I knew I was in a hospital. Knew I was in a hospital, but I didn't know I was in a hospital for me.
That's So that's like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but also it describes his daily experience on this program.
Yeah, and that's not even what I want. So what I want. The thing. I'm sorry. I want to go to what I actually wanted to ask you about, because you talk about her being in a coma and she's aware of the book. Is there a chance that she'll wake up disappointed that she didn't have those experiences? Like, what happened? I know I was struck by lightning, and when I was struck by lightning twice, and when I was a kid, I read these comic books, and like the Flash got his powers by being struck by lightning. Jessica Jones got her powers while being in a coma. Okay, I had the coma and the strike by lightning, and I came out and I had no superpowers. I was so fucking disappointed, and I was a grown man when this happened. I was a grown man when I was like in my 20s, and I was like late 20s.
Once again, he's being way too hard on himself. He has a superpower. I don't know if you're aware of this, but GD is known for having the worst comedy special in the history of comedy.
That alone is his superpower?
Absolutely.
That's so funny. I mean, I'm sure. So she thinks that she does have powers because she does see the cover of the book, which you could see it where she's holding the power. Right. And so she'll say to me, like, those are my powers. So she thinks she's pretty powerful. She's 4 years old. So, so she was excited. She knows the book exists for her. She doesn't really understand what the book's about, or, she knows that the cover kind of looks like her. I made the girl sort of look like her. My grandchild was born with a white streak in her hair.
I was going to ask about the white streak.
Yeah, she was born with that. So I wanted the illustrator to put that in. But when sorry about it. Go ahead.
I just want to ask you about the cover. I'm sure people have commented on the cover is exquisite for self-published, first of all, and I don't want to make it sound like pretty good for a girl. That kind of self-published is not necessarily a negative thing, but generally when I see people who are self-publishing books, they don't put as much effort or concentration in the cover, and the old cliche, you can't tell a book by its cover, but we all do.
You can.
This cover is exquisite, and it's really good artwork. How much involvement, you just mentioned that you made sure that the girl had the streak in the hair, but how involved were you in the production of this cover? Because it's
very almost cover. I was probably a nightmare for my illustrator. So I wrote, before I released this book and put it under my own imprint, I wanted to make sure it was at a professional level. So I edited it personally like 20, 30 times. That was just myself. And then I put it through 2 professional edits, one being by an award-winning writer and former literary agent, and the other being the editor of The Hunger Games. She actually edited Delilah versus the Ghastly Grimm. And then I found this great artist, and I was really I immediately said, I don't want AI used in the making of the cover. I want it to be human art. And I had a vision of what I wanted it to be, and I kind of drew it out. Because I can do some art, but I'm not at that level. And I knew I wanted it to be at the higher level. I mean, I've had stuff like in independent movies, but I still didn't feel like I was a strong enough artist to make the book be what I had envisioned. So I kind of drew out what I wanted it to look like. And I said, a version of this. And so he took it, and he's a very skilled artist, Michael Deschow, and he's an award-winning artist too. And he brought it to life with that cover, which I absolutely love the cover. It's something that I get a lot of feedback on. Some of the kids say it looks a little dark, a little bit like Goosebumps, and that, believe it or not, makes them want middle grade kids they want to read that kind of stuff. So it actually helps.
It's a great cover. We're showing it for the people on the radio. You got to tune into the visual parts of the show, wherever you find it. But it's a great cover. The colors, the artwork, the fonts, everything about it is so professional and so well done. My kudos to the artist.
Yeah. Now, does your granddaughter want a kangaroo now? Also, does she say, "Those are my powers"? Is that my kangaroo?
So the kangaroo. So I actually was in like this program to improve my writing, and I was writing a thriller about a psych nurse, because I'm a psych nurse. And I was writing that when I came across a study that there weren't enough books out there for kids with special needs. Only 3.4% was, I believe, the number I had come across. And that basically lit a fire under me. I was like constantly blah, 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 blah. My husband's like, please stop. Why don't you just do something about it? So I was like, oh, fine, I'll just go write a book. And so that's what I did. I wrote the book. And so I kind of got lost on my own on the question. What was your question again?
The kangaroo. Whether or not she wants her own kangaroo.
The kangaroo. So the kangaroo. So that's what that was getting me to it. So when I was in the program, I met an award-winning writer who did children's books, and he said, I recommend you use some hybrid creatures, because at that age range they like that. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do something like that. And my daughter was out with my granddaughter, and my granddaughter was holding a baby kangaroo. She went to this fair and was holding a baby kangaroo. So that snapshot caused me to put that in the book. Wow. So I knew I wanted it to be a little bit religious. I'm kind of religious. And I had this idea where I wanted there to be like a scene similar to the Sanhedrin. And I said, well, she's going to face the Kangaroo Council. And so that's where the whole idea came up from her, a snapshot of my grandchild holding a kangaroo, and advice from another author to put some hybrid creatures in there.
Well, I have one other question. Hold on, and you'll ask the question in 1 second. You've taught me some things here this morning. I feel like I owe you. Baby kangaroo is Joey. Go ahead.
Now, does the kangaroo have like Harpo Marx like type powers, where where Delilah can reach into a pouch and pull out like anything? Like Harpo Marx could like pull out anything out of his pocket, like a harpsichord, or he could pull a fish, or so does the kangaroo have?
He does fit a lot in his pouch. Let's just say that. Maybe not superpowers like Delilah, but he definitely fits a lot in his pouch. That comes into play in the story. Yeah.
Okay, I had to ask because there's no point in having a kangaroo in a pouch
No
if you're not
point.
going to maximize.
You have to use every space available in the pouch.
Yes.
The pouch thing always freaked me out. When I was a kid, that whole just seeing a mother carry a baby around inside and the head could pop out, that was kind of scary. Now I'm reliving the trauma of my own childhood.
We'll have a therapy session afterwards.
Do you? How do you communicate with your granddaughter about why she is different from other kids? Because I'll just briefly, I don't want to make this about me, but I played a party for a neurodivergent children's party, and I play music, and they said don't mention anything about how they're special. They were autistic, some of them had Down syndrome, and I couldn't help but feeling like I had to say to them, I'm like you. You're not different from me. I'm on the spectrum. People tell me I have a version of autism, and I played a song for them called "Nobody Else Is Like Me," and it was all about embracing what makes you different. And in the end, I was in a group hug of 30 children, crying and embracing me like I was one of them. But I'm always curious about how you communicate with children to make them understand they're special, but not in and to embrace their special, not to see it as I'm not as good as. Do you understand what I'm saying? So how do you communicate with your granddaughter about what her thing is without making her feel bad about it?
Actually, that's kind of the purpose of the book. When I wrote the book, I said the primary goal was to take what others, not myself, may view as a weakness and turn it around and show it as her greatest strength. Because in my opinion, our differences are what make us beautiful. They're what make us special. And so when you say like that people don't want to talk about it, the child knows. The child has picked up on it. My granddaughter is 4 years old, and I could see her change the way she speaks or the amount that she speaks in public, because she already can tell she doesn't speak like the other kids in her class. So there's no way you're going to shield them from it. What you have to present it as, it is okay to be different. It can be great to be different. In fact, some of the greatest people who've ever walked the planet were not like everyone else.
Right.
And that's how I wanted her to see it. Like, I want to show her like it to be something that empowers her. Look at how much she's had to overcome, and that she already has overcome. And she's 4 years old. She's more of a hero than anybody that I know.
Amen.
And that's the way I want her to view herself.
Yeah, great stuff. Now, being a former educator, I'm saying former educator, like I know that you're not still Are you still teaching or involved?
No, I'm a nurse. I'm a psych nurse.
Okay. Well, you could. My wife is a nurse, and she has also been a teacher, teaching nursing. So you never know. But the idea, because it does feel like it could be seen as self-serving, and it is probably in some way self-serving. But the idea of introducing this is an important part to schools to kind of embrace teaching this stuff, because as you mentioned, the people with special circumstances are only way underrepresented in any kind of children's literature. Have you made any effort to like reach out to schools, school boards, curriculum makers, and all this stuff about the importance of not just your book but other books that kind of, and I don't know how many other books there are that kind of address this kind of lack of representation. Have you done anything on that level?
Yeah, it's something I'm working on now. That's part of the marketing campaign. Of course, we would love for it to end up in some schools and then be used as a teaching device, as well as something that the kids can appreciate and enjoy. It's hard to get it in the schools when it comes to like schools. Librarians, they don't pick up books the way other people pick up books. They usually get massive discounts at libraries and stuff like that. You have to make it so that they can return the books if they don't want it. And that could kill an indie writer or a small publishing house.
Yeah.
That is the hardest part of it. But it has been picked up. Like it's going to be in a school in Indiana. Boston Children's Hospital is going to carry it on their epilepsy unit for the kids because it's, got kids with seizures in the book, or a child with a seizure disorder in the book. So, in that way, that's what I was hoping for. I don't know how many schools will pick it up. My hope is that some schools will pick it up. It will be part of my marketing campaign to, encourage, even if it's not my book. I just want there to be more inclusive books out there for these kids. That's all I really want.
Yeah. So basically, the school librarians are the equivalent of comedy gatekeepers or music gatekeepers.
They're a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wow.
Sure. And if you really think about it, the true gatekeepers are the big publishing houses, because, when I came across a study and it said 3.4% of children's books feature a disabled protagonist, that's really what annoyed me, because, they're the ones who produce most of the books that get read, and they're the ones deciding not to put out there more books that are inclusive. They don't put out enough books that are inclusive. They don't put enough books out there that are representative. It's a problem in general. And these are the gatekeepers that everybody's allowing to be the gatekeepers. And then so Delilah versus the Ghastly Grimm has won every award that I entered it into. And, some of the awards, they weren't open. The ones that I really wanted weren't open. So I couldn't apply when I finished the book. But there was one that was, and I really wanted to win it. And it was for books that, have that focus, inclusivity. And I was told, and I won't say which organization it was, I was told at first it wasn't enough of a disability. And I said, you need to do your homework, because it's actually causes a cascade of issues. And if you do your homework, you're going to see some of these kids need lifelong care. You need to do your homework before you come back at me with that.
What a terrible thing to say.
I know, I was annoyed. And then they said, oh, I'm sorry, we only accept books from bigger publishing houses. So they wouldn't even read the book. They wouldn't even read it to consider it. And I was like, well, you know what? This is the problem, because if you're saying you want to give awards to books that are inclusive, but you're only allowing the books from the gatekeepers who decided not to produce books that are inclusive, then what good are you?
Stuck in a very old world paradigm of how publishing the world has changed as far as publishing goes. Let's talk a little bit about the writing of the book, because for me, I know I can't write a children's book. I can't. I would be. Kids would say, "Well, that's too stupid. You're purposely trying to be too dumb. You're disrespecting the audience by dumbing it down too much." Were there any challenges on that, like for you being an adult trying to relate to a child's mindset in this?
For sure, there are some challenges. So I kind of grew up rough. So I had always felt almost like I was dumb. And then I learned, like after high school, when I went to college, that I was actually a very fast learner. But I always had that feeling that I was dumb. So I kept going to school, and basically collected degrees. It was almost like a joke. I have 6 degrees. So when I write, sometimes all that education is too much, and I can get wordy, and you can't do that with a children's book. You have to be careful with the way you write. So the way I kind of went about that is, one, I put it through the professional editors and said, make sure that I'm writing at the appropriate level. And then I also had other people, just random people, read it. And I said, do you feel like this, including kids, do you feel like you understand it? Were any of the words too much? So that I can make sure that it was written at the appropriate level. That was a goal of mine. It can be very hard.
We definitely need a psychologist on retainer for this program, because the idea of somebody who thinking they're dumb with a wall full of degrees hanging there, it's comical to me. It's like, how much proof do you need
How much proof do you need that you're not dumb? I mean, that's
a lot of proof. And here, let me explain why. So when you grow up in a way where people tell you you're dumb, it almost becomes like it's programmed into your brain. And so then for a long time, I thought I was dumb, but then I was in the military. And when I joined the military, my sister said, you need to take advantage of them paying for you to go to college. And I was like, I don't think I'm smart enough to go to college. But she talked me into it. And my first class, the teacher did this test and my scores came out abnormally high. And I was shocked. And I was like, that can't be possible because I'm an idiot. And so she's like, no, you just don't try. And so then she's like, try and see if you'll do well. And then from that point on, I was 4.0 with the exception of the semester my mother died. I had 1B. So 6 degrees, 1B. And so I found that I could learn. But it was always there. That programming was always there so that if I wasn't that A or if I wasn't perfect, then I'm right back to being dumb again. Wow. And so that kind of has stuck with me. That's stuck with me. And it's also caused me to become a highly educated person.
No, I get it. Believe me, how things like that can stick with you. I get it. But I do feel like, I don't know, like
you can say it. You're in your 50s. Let it go, woman.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at this point, I would just daily look at my degrees and say, huh, yeah, that's enough proof for me. Right?
F you, so and so.
Yeah, I have a question for you about because your granddaughter, who this book is based on, is 4 years old.
That's
currently.
Right. Yes.
Now, but Delilah is 12.
Yes.
So how much of Delilah is a projection on how you want your granddaughter to turn out, or how much of it is based on you as a 12-year-old, and how much of it is based on your own daughter as a 12-year-old?
Ah.
You're staring at me. Are you staring or did you freeze? I think she's frozen. Thank God, because I thought she was staring at me like I was an idiot.
No, she's like, why isn't this guy considered dumb? Anyway,
she's frozen. We'll get that answer when she returns.
She froze with a very nice look on her face, though, right?
Yeah, almost like
me. Yeah, I always freeze like, which is hard to mistake for. Are you just listening to me, or are you gonna?
It's funny. You're talking about my negative tape is in my family. My mother maintained that I was terrible at fixing things, that I was awful. Okay, and the thing is, I was really good at fixing things. Like, okay, you remember this? Televisions were tubes, had tubes and stuff. Okay, and before transitions and stuff, and so when I was younger, I couldn't understand how television worked. You know, I wanted to know what happened to the rest of the body. So like right now, we're looking, and you cut off like around your chest. When I was a kid, if I saw somebody like that, I would get close to the television and try to figure out where the rest of the body was. And so I opened up the back of the television set and I started tearing things apart. And I had to put it back together before my father got home and killed me. Yeah, so if I broke something, I was constantly breaking things because I wanted to know how they worked and putting them back together before my parents got home. And so I've always been really good at that stuff. And it wasn't until my mother started paying attention to me that she started thinking that I was terrible at that stuff. But I already had cred.
Yeah.
I was fixing so many things that I used to go to the hardware store, and I was getting so many things from them to fix stuff at home that they didn't charge me anymore. I had to work it off, you know.
That's this basic. I relate to this because, like TL was saying, like she brought into labels. Hey, she's back. Labels about being dumb, and she brought in that and became part of her self-identity. Yeah. I had the same kind of issues. My father he was terrible to be around when he was working on something. He would get angry. So I was afraid of him when he was fixing things. And then it became, oh, you're not mechanically inclined. No, I'm scared to death of being around the mechanic. So confused issues there, but you buy into that, it becomes part of your identity. It's really hard to let go of that. The question
is.
GD had it was because he was talking about the age difference between your granddaughter and Delilah, who's 12. It was is that a projection of where your granddaughter will be when she's 12, or are you basing that on your actual daughter from when she was 12?
Or you basing it on you when you were 12? Was it a combination?
I would say my projection. I mean, Delilah's off to, I really do believe that it will be harder and harder to tell that she has this disorder, because she's one of the fortunate ones where, even though right now you can definitely tell, like, her gait is different than other people's gait, her, the way she walks. The way she speaks is different, but every single day she's getting better and better and better. So by the time she's 12, it will be harder to tell that she has this disorder, especially if we could keep the seizures at bay. Wow. So I think she will be very close, like, as far as the character goes. What I wanted to do was not necessarily base it off me or her so much as present like the character who has a seizure disorder, for kids so that they could see themselves. But I wanted to show it authentically. Like, this isn't who she is. Well, it is. It's part of who she is, but she can still do all of these things, go on all of these adventures, go on a quest, do all of these things, and, live her life with it. I wanted it to be more authentic than to be something like, make that the only issue in the book. Or what I have a problem with is a lot of times when you see inclusive books, the writer will fix the issue.
Right.
And you can't fix something that's genetic. Well, you might be able to in the future with all the technology that's out there. But they always fix the issue like, oh, look, they're fixed now, it's all good. But I don't want that, because I feel like that doesn't empower the kids. That basically tells them they have to be fixed.
Right.
So yeah. I didn't want to present it that way. I wanted it to be, this is something she lives with on a daily basis. This is part of her life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The idea that you should embrace what makes you different and, use it and find some kind of superpower within it that makes you better in some ways, or more have a different and a unique perspective on life than other people do. It shapes who you are, and what makes us different is really the juice of life, in my opinion. So I totally love your perspective on that, because people do the idea that it needs to be fixed means you're broken in some way, and I think we're all broken in some way. But the idea that it's just something that she has that makes her unique and a special contribution, a special viewpoint on the world is far more productive for her. Now, I want to ask you about, because in the description it says for middle grade fantasy, and I'm thinking, is that that based on like middle grade school? What does middle grade fantasy mean?
I would say kids that it's appropriate for kids who are 9 and above. I've actually been getting told adults, like younger adults, have been reading it and enjoying it, which surprised me, because I basically wrote it for kids who are like in middle school.
You know what? All the women I know, women who are soccer moms, love Harry Potter books. So it wouldn't surprise me that
I was a soccer mom, and I used to read Harry Potter to my kids all the time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, so it wouldn't surprise me that would be the audience for this. And that's where I was going to ask you, is it meant to be read to them, or is it for kids who will pick up the book and read it themselves? Those are two different.
Well, no, you can't. No, so it's funny you say that, because a lot of people think, oh, well, middle school kids, they should be reading for themselves, and absolutely they should be. But one of the things that I did with my kids is when they were in middle school, I still read to them at night. We would sit around and one on one side, one on the other, and we would open the Harry Potters up, and I would read it to them. So you can do both. They learn both ways. They learn vocabulary, they learn storytelling, they learn creativity. So you can still be, educating them while you're reading to them. And then, of course, they can read for themselves too. So I think a mix is always a good thing. So maybe some kids will want to read it for themselves, or maybe they want to sit with their parents, and it could be a nice bonding time.
Perfect segue to my next question. Do you have an audiobook yet?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
So I keep trying to work on it, and then I keep getting pulled in so many different directions. The starting your own imprint ended up being basically I'm doing the job of 5 departments by myself, and so it ends up pulling me in a lot of different directions. So it is coming. It's just not ready yet.
Will you be reading it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my husband's actually a YouTuber, so I have a studio upstairs. He's drum dums. He does movie reviews, like mainly horror movie reviews. So we get to go see all the movies early, which is a big benefit.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, good for him.
He does horror movies, horror reviews, and he hasn't seen any of my comedies. What the?
I wonder if we can get him to review. Well, it's not out yet, but Clay Zombies is out yet. But the movie that I'm going to be in upcoming is called "Your Pizza's Going to Be Late Due to Aliens."
Your pizza's going to be late.
Yeah.
That actually is a super fun title. Actually,
yeah.
I feel like that would make me want to watch it.
All right, Blue Round Book Group. Kind of, it doesn't just come flowing off my tongue there. .com. That link is in the description, plus your Facebook page. Now, as a publisher and starting your own publishing company, are you branching out and publishing for other authors?
Yeah, so that is a goal. My goal is to include other authors. I have been in talks with some others who are still in the process of writing their books. So it's not going to be something right away. I wanted to start with this so that I could really focus on it. Plus there's a learning curve. So I really have to learn how to do everything and things that'll work, things that won't work, some marketing strategies, and then bring others on board. So I am in talks with some other authors. I don't know how soon something else will be released by Blue Round Book Group, but it's just going to be a small imprint, nothing too big because, I have a day job.
Yeah. Well, you still have a day job? Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
Well, I say good for you. Maybe I mean bad for you.
Probably bad for me.
I don't want a day
being
job.
A psych nurse is dangerous.
People come at me with day job all week long. I'm getting recruited by stuff. It's like, it's a little too much.
Too much to have a day job.
And now, I worked for 50 years. I mean, literally 50 years. So I felt like I paid my dues. Like I don't want to have to work, especially a full-time job. I think at this point,
no one wants to have to work.
Right. And
yes, I did want to work. I identified myself. I felt like I had to be useful. Growing up, being told that I was useless, I really felt like I needed to be useful. And so
when does that kick in?
Well, that's just it. I'm retired again, so I'm useless all over again.
All right. Yeah, no.
You're doing this though. That's got
that's where I was trying to figure in where the usefulness is.
Friends. This show is costing me friends and relationships.
No, but yeah, I feel like work should be enjoyable. I don't have any problem with people taking day jobs if they're in the creative arts and they need to take a day job to support themselves. I get that whole thing. I've been there, but I think it should always be something you enjoy doing or it doesn't feel like work. And I think that work is a 4-letter word. Let's call it fun. It's easy. 3 letters and it changes the whole thing around. Because I was thinking about you starting this publishing company, and it reminded me of people in the performing arts who buy a club, and then wait a minute, because they did it for themselves for a place to perform, and obviously the first idea for you starting your own publishing company was to publish your book. But then if you start doing it for other people, it becomes a headache. It's like I didn't start this club so that I could be a club manager. I never, this is the thing that performers fall into all the time. Yeah, I got my own stage. Now you become a bar manager.
That's why you have kids and grandkids. They take over the business.
You got to build an empire. That's what we need to do. We need to build an empire. Writers don't want to market themselves either. I would just rather write all day. It just kind of goes with the territory.
Most creatives do not want to promote themselves or feel. Well, okay, I guess I shouldn't say most creatives because I don't know if that's true. I know this creative has difficulty marketing himself
because it's uncomfortable, right?
It is in a way. Somebody, Dwayne Walker, who GD and I have interviewed before, he's a creativity coach, and he changed my perspective on this thing. I've always said that creative people have a block when it comes to that dual brain of creativity and business. And business is a tough thing for creative people because selling yourself feels like now I've become the product and I have to kind of brag about myself and all this stuff. And that becomes uncomfortable for a lot of people. But Dwayne makes the point that business relies on creative minds for everything. Creativity is what makes business work. And so there's that part of it. But I do feel like artists in general don't want to promote themselves. Like I'd have an easier time using my creative mind to promote somebody else's work than my own. It feels weird and uncomfortable. So
it does. Well, I'm in my 50s, and when back then, what they would teach us is you should humble yourself. You don't brag about yourself. You don't brag about your accomplishments. And then here you are, you're having to market yourself, which it feels like you're saying, I did this, blah, blah, look at me. And that's the opposite of what you're taught all those years ago. So it doesn't feel like it comes naturally. Yeah. I guess for some people it does, and they're probably the ones who are super successful at it.
And I don't want it to feel like it comes naturally, because that means I'm becoming an egomaniac or a narcissist.
There you go. Yeah, it does not come naturally for me.
Yeah, on a regular basis, my wife probably at least 5 or 6 times a week says to me, it's not all about you. And I know
that's me. I'm not your wife. I say that to you 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, but and the thing is, and I'm saying it, and sometimes she says it and it's wrong, because she'll ask me a question, and the question she's asking me is about me. So, and I'll answer, and she goes, not everything is about you. I said, yes, when you ask me about me, it's about me.
Right. I went through that yesterday with that war on Twitter about Shane Gillis, and people saying I'm wrong. I'm like, I'm not wrong. The question on the table is, do I enjoy his work? Nobody knows what I enjoy better than I do. It's not whether he's funny. I admit he's funny. He's got a big audience. He wouldn't be as successful as he is if I don't find him funny, and I can't be wrong about what I find funny or not funny.
How dare you have your own opinion? Yeah. That's not allowed.
Right.
When people ask me, well, who's your favorite comedian? I say me. I'm my favorite comedian because I make me laugh. I write about the things I want to hear about.
Go ahead, make you laugh. Let me see you make you laugh.
I did that earlier. But
the question is, do you make your wife laugh?
Yes, I do. But not. My wife married me because she wanted someone to make her laugh.
Me too. I feel like I married my spouse because he made me laugh a lot.
Right. And my wife says that's why she married me, because she was not going to have a second marriage, and so she married me because I made her laugh. But this is my job, to make her laugh. And then she comes home from work and she's had a rough day. I want to do my job, and I'm ready to make her laugh. And I go, honey, and she's like, not now, not now. And then I'll wait, and I'll go, I'll come back again. But honey, and she's like, not now, no. And then she'll say, I know what you're trying to do, just not now.
Wow.
She knows you too well.
Yeah, I just one more, and then we'll put you out of your misery for this show, and you'll have paid your dues. So we're promoting this book. How long has Delilah versus the Grimm been out?
Since the end of May.
Ghastly Grimm.
Yeah, Delilah versus the Ghastly Grimm since the end of May.
May 27th.
Yeah, it's doing all right. It's won a few awards, and it actually hit 3 different bestseller lists on Amazon. So we're off to
congratulations.
It's off to a pretty good start.
What about reviews? Do you get a lot of reviews?
Oh my God, I hate reviews. I hate them because it's like I get DM'd every day. Oh, I read the book. I love the book. Okay. Why won't they go over and put the review?
Right.
Like, why?
Exactly where
they
I
don't
wanted
do it.
It's so hard to get people
to, especially if it's positive. If it's negative, yeah, I'll go public with it.
Yeah.
But if it's positive in any way, I'm going to be shy about that. And I think it comes back to what you said before. How dare you have your own opinion? They're afraid that somebody is going to not like them because I don't know. There's a fear of leaving a positive review online or something like that. But
slowly trickling it. They're slow to trickle in, but like I'm literally messaged all the time. And yet they're very slow to trickle in. It's but I think that surprised me.
Yeah.
You know?
You're talking about something that I'm experiencing as well. And now I'm having a theory. My theory is that these people that if they can, there are people who want to write good things about you. If they can send it directly to you, they do that and they don't make it public. And they've done what they did, which is told you how they like the book. Yeah. And what we need is for people who don't know us, because I could do a show and people will send me a text or through like a Facebook Messenger and says, great show, or even if it wasn't a great show, they'll lie to me, but no, they'll say like, or I like this, or thank you, or blah, 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 blah. But I don't get the same thing or the same volume of it, like on Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah. Very weird.
I had a comedian compliment me, and he sent me a message talking really well about something I did. And I said, why are you telling? I said, thank you. But
post that.
I said, but post it.
Yes.
Post it. And then he said, oh, but I can't because I'm a comedian.
Wow.
Like, why can't he though? That would help you.
Wow.
He eventually did. He said I shamed him into it.
I just want to say authors are unique among all creative people. They're far more supportive of each other than comedians, musicians, actors, filmmakers, and all this stuff. I find that authors are far more willing to pat you on the back, say, attaboy, attagirl, good stuff in public, and support you and than any other creative endeavor that I've seen. So.
But people who don't like you will go, not only will they go out of their way, they'll go out of the way of their way.
So sometimes I'm afraid about that. Like literally, like what if I say something that offends somebody and then they're just like, well, I'm just going to go write a nasty review about your book. They don't even read your book. I think about that. So now it's like, I got to be super careful what I say. That I don't offend anybody.
Now you're a public person.
That's new to me too, FYI, because my husband said I was off the grid because I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't on Instagram. I was on none of it before I started this doing the imprint.
Wow.
So that's all brand new. Those are all brand new social media sites that I just started up, and the website and everything for the book, because I wasn't on there before. I was private. I'm a psych nurse. You keep it private as a psych nurse. You don't really want yourself out there.
All right,
so,
let me be. I know I said one more thing, and I would put you out of your misery. But I'm listening to your voice and your accent, and I'm trying to figure out where you're from. Are you? First of all, you're in the States. Are you?
Yeah, I live in Florida, but I grew up in Connecticut. But I served in the military too, so I moved like every 3 years, pretty much since I was 19 years old.
It's weird. Connecticut, I guess, but it doesn't sound. I have a friend, Erica Rhodes, who's a comedian, and she has a very similar inflection to you in some of the words that you're saying. And she's from Massachusetts originally, but I accused her of being California, I thought that'd be in a California accent. She said, actually, it's Northeast. It's like, it does not ring into my ears as a Northeast.
And when I go up north and with family, my husband always says it comes on stronger, because the more I'm back home, the more that kind of comes out. It's faded over the years.
All right. Well, I guess I need to tune my ears more towards New England.
Yeah.
All right.
Good spot.
Pleasure having you here. Listen, we wish you good luck with the book. We will help support it and put it on our website and send people to your both the links are in the description. Your Facebook page and the Blue Round Black bookgroup.com is in the description. People can click on it and get the book. It's also available on Amazon. Is it Barnes & Noble too?
Ingram Spark. Spark is where it's been.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And when this book has run its course and you write your next book, please feel free to come on back and talk to us some more about that one. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Have a great day. You've been fabulous.
Bye.
Bye for now. Bye for now. T.L. McCoy, folks. Book is Delilah versus the Ghastly Grim. Not gas. Not gassy. Gassy Grim. Ghastly. G-H-A-S-T-L-Y. Good stuff, man. Lovely lady. I mean, yeah. I'm just trying to think of any other books where, you know what? Forrest Gump is about somebody with a neurodivergent, and he was the hero, a protagonist of the book, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of any others. Really, I'm at a loss for thinking of any others. I'm sure there are. That number
Tom
3.
Tom Hanks talks about when he developed his manner of speaking from an actual person, a child who talked like that.
Yeah.
And so that's how he got his way of talking for Forrest Gump.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
I know you heard me talk about him, but you know who Lex Friedman is? Do you know?
Oh yeah, second baseman for the Mets.
Yeah. Lex Friedman is a podcaster who has ridden Joe Rogan's coattails into becoming one of the most popular podcasters in the world. He also
so he did it after he left baseball.
Yeah, I think he left baseball after Little League in second grade or something. If he ever did. No, he's Russian. He escaped. He was in Russia. He was in the Soviet Union prior to the wall coming down and all that stuff, and then emigrated to the U.S. as a small child. I don't think baseball was his thing. You don't see a lot of Russians playing baseball. So
no, usually I think because what they do with bats, the baseballs are much smaller than what they're used to aiming at.
Yeah. Anyway, Lex is a big time podcast, and I've had a problem with him for a long time. He's blocked me for the last, I think, 2 years, so I haven't seen him. I'm just like wondering what's going on with him. Lex is apparently, and I watched this whole thing on him yesterday. He claims he's an MIT professor. Research scientist, and that turns out to be a complete lie.
Is this like Trump's uncle being a research at MIT top professor who taught?
No, Trump's uncle actually was a tenured professor at
MIT. But not to the extent that he's describing him, and also he never taught the Unabomber.
Right. Oh yeah, all that. But Lex never even got paid from MIT for anything. He did a talk for the community, which MIT allows people to come in and give speeches to the community there. He did that one time. It was a non-paid thing. It was a volunteer thing. I'm going to do a thing for MIT. And people came to see him, and he got some pictures taken in front of a blackboard that had all these. The previous guy put all these equations on and all that stuff, and he's got all. This is what he's been using. Now he's been using this to promo himself. MIT teacher at MIT, researcher for MIT. All of it is a lie. And if you bring up Drexel University, which is where he got his BA and MA and PhD, he'll block you. He has shame. Now Drexel's a fine university, accredited university, but he built his whole reputation on this MIT stuff, which turns out to be a complete fraud.
I don't understand. If you have a PhD, I don't care if you have a legitimate PhD, not
from Phoenix University online.
There's still something that you worked at it. It's not like, unless it's an honorary PhD, but if you have a legitimate PhD, be fucking proud of it wherever you got it from.
Yeah, but I agree with you 100%. But I think the thing is, MIT has this extra little thing in people's minds. Oh, MIT must be a fucking genius. This is where all the geniuses go. And if you're teaching the geniuses, you must be a super genius. But turns out you or I, without even if we had no college experience whatsoever, with a high school diploma or even without a high school diploma, you could volunteer to do a thing at MIT. Am I froze up?
No, it's not for me, and not on my phone.
I thought my bottom window, my bottom was.
Your bottom may have frozen up,
but so anybody could go there and do that, and then put I taught at MIT on your resume. It's just phony. You.
Yeah, I tell people that I went to University of Michigan, and I did. I went there for a tour. I didn't attend. I didn't take any classes. You know, it was my favorite college. I wanted to go there since I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Wow.
No.
So anyway,
Mainly because I like Wolverines. It
whole
nothing to do with the school. It was the
expose
mascot.
on what a bullshit artist Lex is, and how he just like kind of, and he's not even a great interviewer. His show is fucking boring. He's very, very dry, not funny, and sometimes slow to ask really awkward questions. But he's getting all these high profile guests because they think they're going on with this fucking, intellectual, high level intellectual. He's just a regular guy. I mean, I don't discount his PhD. He got his PhD, and it's definitely worth being proud of your PhD. But to put yourself off as an MIT professor when you never even worked for MIT, and MIT doesn't even bother disputing it. Like
That's what I was about to say. Have they had like a stop and desist?
No, they don't.
Cease and desist.
Apparently, they don't care because he's bringing, I guess, more. I'm not they need PR or publicity or anything. I don't know why they. I would think they would, but I shared that stuff around. If anybody's interested, I'll look on my social media for that one. The other thing that caught me yesterday was watching my YouTube stuff, and it wasn't on YouTube. It was on BitChute. It was about Butler, PA, and the shooting. But I got to cut this thing up because and repurpose it here without because the guy's got like a heavy Russian accent or something. The guy who's doing the narration, but it's from an angle that nobody has ever seen before. And there's this guy, and we don't know if this guy is a Secret Service. It doesn't seem to be Secret Service. It seems like he's a PR guy, and he's managing the photographers and videographers, telling them where to go to shoot. So this lends hugely to the stage thing. The way it looks, this guy he's anticipating the shots. He's bending down before the shots start. He ducks down as this is the lane for the shot. Then he goes and grabs photographers and going, no, shoot this way and shoot up. Then they use a crane. And I'm not exaggerating on any of this stuff. There's a crane there that lowers the flags down to be in the angle that the photographers are shooting while they stand Trump up, and he goes, fight, fight, fight. Those flags weren't there until that moment. The crane lowered them down for the shot, and he's telling them what to shoot. Like, shoot up this way. Make sure you get the flag. And going into the corner and say, no, you want to shoot this angle. You want to shoot this angle. This looks like a media staged event from that angle. And it's for people who say, well, yeah, they killed people. They don't know who killed those people, first of all. I looked into this. The ballistics on the rifle. The FBI confiscated the rifle from the kid. They have not released a ballistics report on it. They say 8 shots were fired because there were 8 casings around. But if it should be an easy thing to dispute. Just release the ballistics report. They bury that. Nobody can get it. And I wonder how, and maybe Elizabeth can help with this, the Freedom of Information Act. I want to see that ballistics report. I want to see that this kid actually fired 1 shot, because I have a feeling that he didn't, that did all the shots. And then, the shot.
Can we ask the kid? Oh, no, that's right. Oh, yeah. Damn.
Well, I could stop by his house on the way to Ohio and ask his father, but I think his father will shoot me. So that wouldn't, maybe if I get it on tape, it would help for the ratings if I get shot.
Send Ron, because Ron is from the same area. Well, not the same area, but he's from Pennsylvania, so maybe.
But,
send Steven. Nobody would shoot somebody in a wheelchair.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know about that. Larry Flint. Oh no, he wasn't in the wheelchair when he got shot. He was in the wheelchair after he got shot. Maybe you're right. It's not fun to shoot a guy in a wheelchair. It's not as much fun.
It's like ducks in a barrel.
Yeah. Anyway, tomorrow we got Slaptail here. I'm going to chop that thing up.
Now, is he here tomorrow as a guest or as a guest host?
As a guest. We're going to talk about Slaptail and podcasting and comedy and everything he's involved in. Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah.
You think it would be inappropriate for me to ask him about Bear? Maybe I should get Bear to come on and have them fight, and just we leave and just let them.
No. First of all, if you brought Bear on, we wouldn't get any words in. So let's not do that.
Yeah, Bear's a nice enough guy. I like Bear. But apparently a lot of people who watch the program have a negative reaction to Bear, and because not just because of the talking too much. They brought up stuff like inconsistencies in this story. Like they took me off the meds in grade school, but I was on meds as the reason I couldn't get into the service and all that stuff. There's a lot of that needs to be addressed, and I don't know. I don't feel like putting them on trial here, but people are bringing. This is the problem when you're speaking in public, and there is somebody that they think they can hold accountable. Me, they send me all these emails, DMs, and texts. So you didn't ask him about this. It went right over my head. To be honest with you, when he talks for 3 minutes straight, or 4 minutes straight, or 5 minutes straight, I zone out after a while, and I'm not paying attention to inconsistencies and all that stuff. But now it has to be addressed, and I would rather let Slaptail do it than me. Leave the dirty, because I know Slaptail had a problem. A problem with him saying he tried to join the military. That is a kind of a cop. I tried to join the military. The military will try to get you, but if you try to join the military, generally they'll make it easy for you. They'll lie. Oh, you want in? We'll hide the fact that you're on Ritalin or whatever you claim to be on. Whatever. But I could see how somebody.
I guess it depends on the recruiter, and also, like I said, I'm in my 60s, so when I wanted to be in Air Force. I wanted to go to the Air Force. I wanted to work on. I didn't even want to be a pilot. I wanted to be an airplane mechanic. That's what I wanted to do. And their problem was my attitude.
I could see that.
They said that I wasn't afraid of authority. That I would stand my ground and be punished rather than to do the wrong.
Not only are you not afraid of authority, you are antagonistic to authority. You wanna...
So they thought it was in my best interest that I did not join.
Yeah.
He said I would spend more time doing push-ups and being reprimanded than I would be learning any useful skill.
I could see that. And listen, now you brought up the Air Force. Whatever happened with Space Force? Do you know anybody?
That didn't exist when I was. The closest thing to Space Force when I was growing up was the Thunderballs.
Yeah, I know that didn't exist. I'm saying what happened. What happened since? Because in Trump's first term, he introduced Space Force. We still have the Air Force. I don't know I've never met anybody who says they're in Space Force. We have NASA.
Well, in theory, okay. No, here's the problem. The Air Force was doing the things that he was saying he wanted Space Force to do. That was already being covered by the Air Force. Okay. And so technically he just had this great word in his head that he just liked the way it sounded. And so he just took responsibility away from the Air Force to create this thing on paper. The Space Force does exist in the government on paper, but
nobody's in it. If you're in the Space Force, or if you have a relative in Space Force, please write to me at info@minddogtv.com and let me know. I want to interview somebody who's in Space Force. I don't think is anybody getting a check from being in Space Force? That's what I want to know. Or is it just like, and it's like nobody even wants to ask them, like, whatever happened to Space Force? I don't hear a whole lot of news. What's going on?
I heard something referenced again, but I don't. How should I put it? The things that they did, the Air Force was already doing. You didn't hear anything about the Air Force doing those things, So it's almost like, okay, maybe it's there. Okay, sure, it's there, but they don't get any more recognition when the Air Force did, because what they do is so it's like hearing from the people who do the water sanitation. Okay, they're doing their job. They do it all the time. But nobody's talking about it unless there's a problem with the water. Then you'll hear about it. We haven't had a problem in space, so you're not going to hear about it.
I think we have a problem in space. I forget what. Oh, that's that thing that's coming at us at 150,000 miles per second or whatever.
Right now, the only space I'm concerned with is the space between Trump's ears, because that's where most of the danger is right now.
Yeah. On that subject, because you've heard of this Robert F. Kennedy Jr. guy. You've heard of him. He's part of the. I don't know if you know.
Yeah. He used to play second base for the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this about him, but he's actually related to Robert F. Kennedy Sr. That's really strange, isn't it?
Wow.
But he's got this thing, Make America Healthy Again. And Trump started this whole nonsense about sugar, real cane sugar. Mexicans use it. Mexicans have Coca-Cola with real cane sugar in it.
Right.
And Donald Trump wants him to do that in America. And now RFK is saying this is the step to making this is part of making America healthy again. Sugar is probably the most addictive drug known to man. I've tried to quit
after caffeine.
I think before anything, it's like I've tried. I could quit caffeine. I could quit caffeine. I have, and for periods of I can't go a day without sugar. I know you're a diabetic, right? So
I am a diabetic, but I crave sugar yeah. I get you. I feel you, bro.
So this whole idea of trying to reintroduce sugar doesn't seem to be a make America healthy again type of. It's like the word, like let's all just become fucking addicted to.
If they cared about that, all they have to do is stop the subsidies to sugar. That's because the people buy that stuff a lot of times because they're hungry and that's some of the cheapest shit you can buy.
Yeah.
You know, it's refined and processed food. You take away the subsidies, it becomes normal price. And then if somebody has a choice between paying the same price for healthy and the same price for unhealthy, they'll probably buy healthy.
Yeah. And the idea that, if you're let's say you're a fitness trainer or a health trainer, the first thing you're going to tell somebody is cut out all the sugar and sweets and like soft drink, Coca-Cola. Cut that out of your diet. Don't just say, well, Coke would be much healthier for you if you had real cane sugar in it. No, don't drink fruit juice, drink water. It doesn't make any sense. It's just so fucking hypocritical about make America healthy again. Let's add lots of real cane sugar in there. It just seems like something's not making sense here, dudes. Maybe it's just me. I love sugar. Don't get me wrong. I'm addicted.
They could have fixed the health problems years ago by getting rid of sugar subsidies so that people pay the real price for sugar. Just like if we had to pay the real price for gas as opposed to the subsidies that we would have had cars that got 70 miles to the gallon years ago. I mean, back when we had a real gas shortage, and you probably remember this with the oil embargo and stuff, and we had like days, we had designated days when we could get gas, even in odd days to buy gas.
What a fucking
Shortly after that, there was two cars that got 55 miles to the gallon. The Toyota Starlet and the Volkswagen Rabbit. Okay, that was a direct result of gas. People not being able to get gas. Okay, if we paid actual prices for things instead of subsidies, the world would be a really different place. Cars would be more economical. They'd be cheaper, not cheaper like to buy necessarily, but they would be more efficient to run. And we'd have had the electric cars probably a long time ago. But we're subsidizing things, and it's giving us an artificial sense of security and an artificial sense of what the real world is.
Yeah. Also, they started using corn syrup instead of sugar to help the farmers in America.
Right, high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, this whole idea of make America healthy again, and then we go, well, yeah, heroin helped me get through school, and then let's add.
And they care about healthy, but they don't care about the atmosphere, the water, and the air. It's like, we want you to be healthy, but it's okay to pollute. It's okay to put shit in water that we can't get back out of. Yeah. It's okay to throw plastic in water that we can't get back out of. We can't get the plastic back out of there, so that everybody's going to have enough plastic to make a couple of credit cards in their bloodstream by the time they're 60.
I'm going to steal a line from Matt Melvin here. You've been brainwashed by the libs. That's what liberals. I think he said liberals. He didn't say libs. You've been brainwashed.
Well, he didn't say libtards.
It was me calling him.
Yeah, but I'm just at least he didn't say libtards. So
yeah. So I snapped on him, and I lost my cool. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have snapped on him like that, but I did. Can't take it back.
Now I have a question for the Reverend, for you from the Reverend. Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, the 13th, you sent him a text about viewership and rating. It was like really nice numbers that he was unaware of.
Oh, the radio stuff, yeah.
But you didn't send any this week, so it's like, was there like a dramatic drop off? It's like, oh no, it's like 0 this week. You just don't tell them.
No, it was back to normal. Normal was probably in the hundreds to 200 range. Is a normal Sunday morning, and the time listen is not, because I think on last week when there were like 4,000 listeners, the average time was over 25 minutes, and that's a lot, because usually when they're on the radio, they'll tune in for like 3-5 minutes at a time, and that's what you'll see. The average ends up being 5 minutes, and that's a lot. Last week we had
it was like averaging 27 minutes or something.
Yeah,
which implies if some people are only watching 5 minutes, then some people are watching an hour.
Right. Yeah, I'm certain that's the case. But what made the difference? Like they don't know in advance to tune in. They don't know how.
Right. They didn't know that he was going to have to wing it because he didn't have a script.
And unfortunately, the radio stuff goes out to a lot of different distribution channels, and we can't like go back and see who those people were and where they were coming from, and like even ask them like, how did you find us, and what made you tune in that day. It makes it really frustrating when you see something like that and like, we want to repeat it. You have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to fucking repeat it. Anyway, tomorrow, Slaptail Nation, John Bieber's. I think I should have to Leave It to Bieber theme ready for him to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he probably hates that, right? Anyway, he'll be with us tomorrow for the full 2 hours. So there you go. All right. I'm going to wrap this up by telling people.
Whatever you do, don't forget to turn on your radio.
That's right.
I'm just going to empty into a bucket. I'm just going to empty into a bucket. Welcome.
Are you a retard?
Are you high right now? Are you?
listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen